All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour one of John and Jim. We are getting you ready for more Padres baseball tonight with Kevin Acee, who will join us at 3:30. Can I start the show? You know how yesterday you ripped into me and I ripped into you on something we said right there. You heard it in the open.
Sure.
I don't know if Sammy's probably not listening to this right now. And is Sammy sending out the tweets for Fletch Zone heard weekdays from 12 to 2 on San Diego Sports 760?
That would be correct. Yes.
Okay, it's not you.
No, not me.
It's not Brent.
No.
It's not Ben Fletcher, who works like 9 shows and gets here at 4 a.m, right?
Right. Yeah.
So the tweet that Sammy sent out earlier today that said, "Is Manny Machado back?" He also said the boys are discussing it next ? Like, are they discussing it next?
We don't know.
Is Manny Machado back? Because we can start there. He had the clutch hit, obviously, yesterday.
Where'd he go?
Manny has been one of the most productive hitters in Major League Baseball this year. Now, it doesn't mean he hasn't had like a stretch or two where he's slumped at times, but his overall year, and you mentioned this last night, his clutch hitting, while he hasn't hit in terms of average very well in like close game or late game situations, when he does hit, it's in big spots. Like last night, dude, it's 2-0 with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And he comes through with a game tying 2-out, 2-run RBI single. How can you be more clutch than that? And without Manny Machado over the last couple of weeks, Padres are scuffling. I think they'd have like 3 or 4 less losses if not for some of Manny Machado the last couple of weeks. Actually, I know that.
Well, to answer your first question, Manny hasn't gone. Manny's been here the whole time, so he's not back. He's always been here.
Right.
And second off, it's like clockwork with me. True. I tweet out something about Manny Machado, and boom, he turns it around if he's in any type of slump or whatnot, which he was when I tweeted out what I tweeted out right before I left for Hawaii. And it wasn't even like criticizing Manny. It was just saying dude's going through it right now. And he was coming off of like an 0 for almost 20 slump. The team was in the midst of a 6-game losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
And like 2 innings later, he hits I think a game tying or go ahead home run against the Braves.
Go ahead home run in Atlanta when the score maybe was tied at 3.
Might have been.
Trail 3-2 and it put them up 4-3, something like that.
I think so. And it was just like, well, there you go. And ever since that moment, which was a
week ago Friday.
You're right. Dude's hitting 385 with 4 home runs, 9 RBIs, and multiple clutch hits. So once again, you're welcome.
You're welcome, Manny.
Everybody, you're welcome. He is the one player. I see this all the time on my feed. It's like, Jim, talk about, say that Jackson Merrill sucks, or say that Fernando Tatis Jr. sucks, or say that Luis Ariz sucks to get them going.
Only works with Manny.
Only works with Manny Machado. He is the only player that I could do this with, and it actually works.
Well, it really has. You mentioned it right there or not? He's hit 385 since that moment.
Yes.
He's had all the clutch hits. And I'm feeling like the 2025 Padres are starting to remind me of the 2024 Padres. This offense is nowhere near as good. I mean, shoot. The fact that they've won the first 2 games of this series, there was that ridiculous stat last night from OptaStats.
Yeah,
that they're the first team in 25 years to do basically what they've done. Here's what they've done the last 2 days. They have won back-to-back road games after being shut out through 8 innings for the first time since any team since 2001. The Diamondbacks did this. They won the World Series in 2001, so maybe a good omen. The first time a team has won back-to-back road games when being shut out through 8 innings. The last time that happened was Arizona in the regular season of 2001. They're just pulling rabbits out of hats, but that's what we said about the 2024 team. Overcoming deficits, power of friendship innings, to quote our social media friend, maybe. Too much Morton's. But you know what I mean? Like, how do you win these games? 2 nights ago, that's one thing. It was scoreless, so someone was going to win. Last night, trailing 2-0 against their closer, who had a 1 ERA. In Duvall, and to come back and win that game 3-2 in 10 innings, that's a 1 in 100 rabbit out of a hat type win last night, I would say.
What is one of Schulte's favorite sayings, John?
Winners find solutions.
There you go. Winners find solutions, and they found a solution to win last night's game. Back to Manny real quick, because it continues to be true, and it's as close to 100% true statement as you could say in sports. as Manny goes, the team goes.
Right.
Like, it's not even debatable, like you don't see this really at all in baseball because of, you get 4 at-bats a game and you could walk 4 times and do nothing, right?
You could hit a home run, but your pitcher could allow 5 runs, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's a team sport. It's not like basketball where you can give the ball to Steph or LeBron.
Guy scores 50 points, you're going to win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in baseball, it's a team sport. You need the others to do things, and you need to have a full team effort, and everybody needs to go up there at the plate and put together good at bats. But with this team, for whatever reason, when Manny goes, the team goes. It just is 100% accurate all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at their 6-game losing streak, Manny Machado sucked. He went in the midst of like a 0 for 17 slump. They lost 6 in a row. And then ever since that tweet that I had and that night in Atlanta, they're 8-3, and Manny's hitting 385 with 4 homers and 9 RBIs. When Manny goes, the team goes, and it's really not that hard to figure out. Just look at the stats, look at the numbers, but more importantly, look at the win totals with the team, and you can correlate that to Manny Machado being, good or not.
He's almost like Oppo Mike Trout in his prime, because Trout was always the guy. Ohtani too, and maybe it's just an Anaheim issue. Ohtani and Trout were always the guys that were like setting baseball records and losses.
Yeah, 3 home runs in 2
Trout
innings.
Is the first player in baseball history with 8 RBIs in back-to-back games, both losses.
Right.
Like, well, how do you lose with 6 RBIs in a game or 3 home runs? Yeah. But you're right, Manny Machado. And by the way, oftentimes you look at a Manny Machado game, and it's not the gaudy 2 home run, 5 RBIs. It's 2 hits. He walked. He had a clutch RBI. Like, we don't often say, oh my gosh, Manny Machado has 6 RBI game. I don't know the last time he had
he doesn't
5
have
or 6
gaudy numbers.
No, he doesn't hit 2 home runs in a game. When's the last time he hit 2 home runs in a Padres uniform? It's been a while.
Last year. He has not done it this season.
Right. So have we seen a multi-home run game this year? Gavin Sheets did it. In
yes,
Toronto.
Other than Gavin Sheets, I don't believe we've seen it.
This team is lacking power, but they're still winning games. So, and by the way, they're 21-10 in 1-run games, which speaks to the other area they're having a lot of success in, which is their bullpen holds leads by and large. Yeah. There was a 2-week stretch where they weren't, but yesterday, like Sean Reynolds, 3 hitless innings. Robert Suarez and Jason Adam are down, and you win the game. Robert Suarez and Jason Adam are down, and you win the game. So that's been their like calling card. That's been their special sauce. They're winning close games. They're 21-10 in 1-run games. That's 11 games over 500. They're 11 games over 500.
Show me a team that's really good in 1-run game, and I'll show you a good baseball team. It's pretty simple. Mm-hmm. If you are a bad baseball team in 1-run games, you are not going to be a team that makes the postseason. But if you are a really good team in 1-run games, you are more often than not, and I would say the rate, the percentage of teams making the postseason is very high if you are a good baseball team in 1-run games.
Yeah, correlates.
Yeah, right? It does. It absolutely translates.
Good teams in close games are good teams.
100%. Yeah. So this Padres team this year has proven so far that they are a good baseball team in 1-run games. Like you said, because of their bullpen. And that bodes well for them going throughout the rest of the season. Because if they continue to be a good baseball team in 1-run games, then they're going to be they're going to continue to be a good baseball team, and they're going to march their way to a postseason appearance.
You're winning games consistently with Fernando Tatis Jr., a complete shell of himself, with Xander Bogaerts recording 1 RBI in his last 17 games. Tatis is the exact same, I think. Maybe it's 2.
Yeah.
1 or 2. I mean, there are struggles up and down the lineup. They were shut out through 8 innings in back-to-back games. They have scored 1 or fewer runs in 9 of their last 19. They needed extras to score 3 yesterday. They needed extras to score 1.
It's not been pretty the last week and a half.
And we saw some of this last night, like in the comments of the wrap-up show, like, oh, the manner in which they're winning isn't impressive. Like, their hitting hasn't been good. And yeah, but wouldn't you rather say that and win? Do you want the Padres going out there scoring 8 runs but losing? I'd rather have them go out there and score 2 runs and win. It's zero sum in professional sports. They're 35-24. I don't care if they have a top 5 home run offense. If they're under 500, I'd rather have them have the 20th most home runs in the sport and be 11 games over 500.
Winning games like they're winning right now with some of their top guys really struggling, that's a good thing. Like, that's a good problem not to say good problem to have, but it's something that I think you can be encouraged about because you're still winning these games. So what happens when guys that are in big time slumps get out of it? Then what? And I think that only just bodes well for this team going forward. Like, do we expect Fernando Tatis Jr. to be playing like this for the rest of the season?
No way.
Do we expect Jackson Merrill to not, I guess, produce the rest of the year? Do we expect Luis Ariz to ground out and in big situations all year long? Like, no, these guys are going to hit. The top of their lineup is the main piece and the main part of the engine with this team. Toddy, Ariz, Machado, and Merrill. Those four guys right there. And not all four of them are gonna click at the same time a lot because that's difficult to do. But if guys are slumping, like some of your big bats are slumping and you're still winning baseball games, that's a good thing.
I don't even know if you mentioned in there Luis Ariz, but if you look at what he's done over the last month, he's hit 256.
Yeah, I did mention Luis Ariz.
So, and I'm with you. The thing with Ariz is it's almost a guarantee that he's going to have stretches where he looks like the best hitter in baseball because he has been at times the best hitter for average in baseball. Obviously, he's a three-time hitting or batting champion. So I think Ariz, those numbers will improve. Tatis, you has to improve. It's not going to get worse.
It can't get worse. This is like as worse as it gets.
And then Xander Bogaerts, that's the one guy that, like, am I counting on him to look like the old Xander? No.
Well, if you noticed there, I did not mention Xander in the core of this team. To me, he is just whatever you get from him, you get from him.
Right.
I'm not going to have any expectation on the guy because I don't have any expectation for him. Because to me, he is a has-been player of his former. He's a shell of his former self. He's already going to go down as the worst contract in the history of the Padres franchise. So whatever you get from Xander, you get from him. Like, it's just gravy. Like, I'm not going to just sit there and continue to think and hope that Xander's going to do something and turn into this player that he once was, because that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
No, it's one of those things you can hope for, but hoping for something like that doesn't mean it's actually going to happen.
Again, we'll always say, hope we're proven wrong, but we've said that for 2.5 years now.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, on the other side, as we head into the month of June with July on our sights, let's give you 5 outfielders the Padres could have their eye on with the trade deadline approaching. And by approaching, I mean within the next 8 weeks. In addition, Kevin Acee will join us coming up at 3:30. But 5 outfielders the Padres should have their eyes on. We'll share those with you on the other side. We're here until 6 p.m. Don't go anywhere. It's John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, tonight at 6, right here on San Diego Sports 760, SDFC Midweek Live. You'll hear from the head coach, Mikey Varas, other interviews with players and coaches, the latest on the club and Major League Soccer. SDFC Midweek Live every Wednesday at 6 on your home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. Jim has put together a very detailed list of 5 outfielders the Padres should look to add at the deadline. I will then give you a bonus outfielder not on Jim's list. Is this in a particular order, the list that you have compiled over the last 24 or 36 hours that has kept you from sleeping?
I thought you were going to say over the last 24 or 34 minutes.
Right. Well, that's fine. I mean, these are some names that have been tossed around, obviously. But is this a particular order list or just 5 names in no particular order?
5 names in no particular order, John.
Get us started.
All right. First up, we've talked about him, Jarren Duran. All right. Jarren Duran from the White Sox. And not the White Sox, from the Red Sox, excuse me.
Sox, whatever.
Yeah. This year he's hitting 273, 4 home runs, 35 RBIs.
So solid, but not the year he had last year, which was unbelievably productive.
Last year he put together like MVP season.
Yeah.
48 homers, like 16 triples.
Wait, how many home runs?
So 48 doubles,
16
16 triples, 21 home runs. Sorry.
Right. Okay, so Duran we've talked about.
Luis Robert Jr. we've talked about.
Yep.
This year, by the way, he's out of the lineup again today for the White Sox.
Days. Is he hurt?
I don't know.
Or is this, hey, you are hitting 179. We are going to fix something going on with you right now.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He's actually hitting 177 this year, 5 home runs, 20 RBIs.
So a complete train wreck of a year for a guy that had an unbelievable year 2 seasons ago in 2023.
Now, he does have 21 stolen bases on the season.
How? Has he even been on base 21 times?
But his OPS is in the 500s.
Imagine if he was hitting. He'd have like 40 steals.
I know. It's crazy.
All right, who else do you have on this list?
Taylor Ward. I remember bringing up Taylor Ward's name when the Angels were here in San Diego about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's gone just like, he's just red hot. Like as far as like his numbers go, not great average, but home runs, he would lead the team in home runs if he got traded here today for the Padres.
What's the numbers? It's 16 or more.
So he's hitting 213 on the year. I'm not really looking at the average.
Yeah.
16 home runs, 38 RBIs.
Yeah, with the 16 home runs, that's fine. He's on pace to hit close to 40 home runs this year.
Yeah, totally fine.
Yeah.
I'm not even worried about the average. He's got pop, and that's something that the Padres need. They don't have a lot of it.
All right, who else is on this list?
A name that we have not mentioned, Cedric Mullins from the Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore is
bad.
Yeah, bad's a good word to say for them. They're not a good team. This year he's hitting 232 with 10 home runs and 31 RBIs.
This is actually a decent year for a team that's 13 games under 500, the Orioles. 13 games under. They've been good recently, and they're still 13 games under 500.
And they were a team that was potentially linked to Dylan Cease before the start of the year.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Not happening. And finally, the last name on this list that I have is Andrew McCutchen. He's in 258 with 5 home runs, 18 RBIs this season.
I love him as a player. I mean, how can you not love Andrew McCutchen? His career has been so solid, and he was on winning teams in Pittsburgh the last time they did have winning teams. He's been with Pittsburgh now again for the last couple of years. He's a very sound all-around player at the complete end of his career, maybe 38 or 39 years old. For McCutchen, but yeah, would be an addition. Any of these players would be a huge upgrade for the Padres, obviously, in left field. You want my bonus name?
Yes, I would love your bonus name.
I'll tell you what, I love this name because he's a rental, which means he wouldn't cost a lot, and he's having an incredibly productive year. It's Ryan O'Hearn with the Orioles. He's hitting 335 with 9 home runs, just 23 RBIs, but his OPS plus is 178. He's been 78% better than the average major league hitter this year.
That's good.
He's got a 2 WAR. He's 31 years old, and he's only controllable through the end of the year. And he's on Baltimore. So maybe you give up a mid-tier prospect or 2 to get 2+ months of Ryan O'Hearn. He's not a good defensive outfielder. Who cares? But he hits. So you go from the worst OPS production in baseball out of left field to a guy that has a 960 OPS and is hitting 335, even if he takes a step back and hits 285 here with an 860 OPS, that's massive, massive upgrades over what you were doing over the first couple of months of the year.
And if you're looking at all the players we just named, I think the player that would cost the most to get I think we both agree. Jaron Duran.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 years of control after this year.
I think some of the easier players to get, guys like Andrew McCutchen,
Taylor Ward.
Taylor Ward, he will still cost you something, but it's not going to be like a Jaron Duran trade.
Right.
And I think Luis Robert Jr. If Luis Robert Jr. and the White Sox, they asked for Ethan Salas for Luis Robert Jr., like that's a hang up right now. I'm sorry. Yeah, he had one good year. That was 2 years ago where he hit 38 home runs, but that was an outlier. He's closer to the player he is now than he was 2 years ago. I think the only player of the outfielders that we named that, could cost you a little bit here would be Jaron Duran. Everybody else, I think you can get a couple prospects that, frankly, not a lot of Padres fans would know.
Cedric Mullins, free agent at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I kind of like it in this scenario. Typically, Preller likes controllable players.
Yeah.
But you've got a specific need for now, which is go get someone that can play left field for a couple of months. I'm not saying go get someone that can play left field for the next 3 years. That could be addressed potentially in the offseason. But what you need right now is someone that can play left field. Cedric Mullins, rental. Ryan O'Hearn, rental.
McCutchen, rental.
Yeah, Taylor Ward is quasi-affordable. I think Luis Robert Jr. would be the second costliest player to attain.
Right. Yeah, I think so.
Among those 6 players. But I'm with you. It's not going to take Leo DeVries or Ethan Salas to go get Luis Robert Jr.
And none of these guys either are making big time money to where you have to. The only player on this list that you may have to eat some money or may have to ask the team to eat some money is Luis Robert Jr.
Right.
But everybody else is affordable, So if the Padres landed one of those players that we just named, would you feel good?
Yeah, I would.
Any one of these players?
Yeah, there's some I feel better about, obviously, like shooting for the stars with the Duran. But if you told me tomorrow that Ryan O'Hearn, who's got a 2 WAR and has a 960 OPS, is going to play every day for the Padres in the second half of the year, I'd be excited about it. If you told me that Luis Robert Jr. with his upside and controllable for 2 years is going to be here, I don't know if he solves now, but I think he can help now, and he certainly can help for later. I'd be excited about the upside of Luis Robert Jr. I don't know if he's going to help them immediately, which is what I'm asking for initially. Like, I want someone that can step in right now and hit 300, drive in runs, and look like a complete 180 of what they're doing right now. I don't know if that's Luis Robert Jr.
I don't think it's any of these players. I don't think any of these players are going to do that.
You don't think any of these players step in right away, hit, and look like the opposite of what this team is doing right now?
I don't think any of these players are going to step in and hit 300 for you right away. I think they can hit.
Well, forget 300, but more OPS. Can someone provide some slug, some better on-base ability?
Any one of these players that I mentioned, maybe Luis Robert Jr. On the outside, but anybody else that we mentioned is a clear upgrade right now. Luis Robert Jr., you're almost like hoping he turns it around, and that if you get your hands on him, you can fix him, and Victor Rodriguez can maybe tweak his swing a little bit, and he can be closer to the guy he was 2 years ago. But everybody else that I mentioned, they're all upgrades.
Who would you like to see the Padres add? 877-767-4760 or 70470. Start it with the word team. It was 9 years ago today. The trajectory of the organization changed. We'll explain next. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update is brought to you by Dairy Queen. Padres Giants, game 3 of their 4-game series tonight up in the Bay Area. 6:45 first pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres. And tonight at 6 p.m., SDFC Midweek Live with Darren and Adrian Garcia Marquez. 1 full hour of SDFC talk right here on San Diego Sports 760. Hurry into DQ for their sauced and tossed chicken strip baskets with flavor from the top, bottom, and everywhere in between. Try them today in Honey Barbecue or New Buffalo, only at DQ. Happy tastes good, only at participating Dairy Queen locations.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, June 4th. So 9 years ago today, the Padres organization really did change its course, acquiring Fernando Tatis Jr. for James Shields. June 4th, 2016. Tatis has gone on to be a damn good player when healthy in the big leagues, although going through it right now. But, I mean, Fernando Tatis Jr. for James Shields goes down as one of the more infamous for the White Sox and famous for the Padres trades of the last generation, right? In baseball. This is one of those marquee baseball trades of the 2000s. Would you say that? The Tatis trade? I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, one of. I don't think Tatis is going to be a Hall of Famer.
No, and I think he probably charted that course himself.
Well,
right?
yeah, that's his own fault.
Yeah. But would he be, even if that didn't happen?
No, because he has to stay healthy.
Exactly.
So, like, that's the big thing with Tatis is the amount of injuries that he's had. And, of course, the suspension. It has to be in the conversation when you talk about Tatis.
Yep.
But, you know, he still could, if healthy,
put up the numbers.
Put up like a 3 to 4 year run here where it's like, whoa, when you look back at his career, you know, it's like 3-year span where he was actually healthy and actually performed. And I thought it was going to start this year. I still could. Yeah. Still could turn it around. There's plenty of time, you know, where you have a 3 to 4 year span where you're just like amazing. All-star player in the MVP conversation every year. You're on a good baseball team. But that's, you know, that's up to Fernando Tatis Jr. to accomplish those things. But, you know, it still doesn't take away from the fact that that trade turned out to be just a complete lopsided trade and not, I'm not gonna say it made the Padres because there's other players like Manny Machado coming here and Jackson Merrill and whatnot, but it was a huge, Fernando Tatis Jr. is a huge piece of this puzzle here.
Yeah, I think pointing them in the right direction. But I would say this, now that you just mentioned that about like, well, you know, it is a massive deal, but what is his future trajectory? The one thing I'm beginning to feel on Tatis, tell me if it's too soon to say this, and it probably is. And I love Fernando Tatis Jr. How many times have I said that? He's among my most favorite players in any sport all time to watch. He really is. But are we beginning to get to the point where we might be saying we never saw the true potential of Fernando Tatis Jr.? Like what we thought he would be, will he ever reach that bar or clear it? We thought when he debuted, he was a true one-of-one generational player. He's been a very special player. I don't think he's a one-of-one generational player at this point based on what he's done to this point. So there's still plenty of time. He's only 26. But one of the worst things you can say about an athlete is like they never lived up to their potential. We never saw what we thought was possible from this player. Now, it was a high bar. The bar for Tatis was like, is this guy going to hit 550 home runs and go to the Hall of Fame when he broke in? But is he going to get close to that bar? Jury's out. We don't know. But I think it's very easy to question if he's going to get close to that bar.
The dude was on the verge, and I think he actually kind of was there. Baseball was pushing him to be the face of baseball.
He was right there for a brief moment.
Like everywhere you looked, on television, in supermarkets, ads, commercial, everything. Fernando Tatis Jr. was being pushed by Major League Baseball. He was on the cover of MLB The Show. He was the like brand ambassador for Gatorade. He remember the 2021 NBA Finals, I think it was. He was like everywhere. He was the first Gatorade athlete for baseball since Derek Jeter. He had the Adidas line for all of his shoes and gear. He just was everywhere. He was everywhere. And he has no one to blame but himself because he messed it all up. He got injured, he lied about it, and then he tests positive for steroids. So he still has work to do. I don't think he'll ever get back to that point where baseball is pushing him as the face of the sport. They've already done that with Ohtani. They've chosen Ohtani, and that's who it is.
Of course.
But I think for Fernando Tatis Jr., you're not far off from saying things like, well, he had the potential, and it's sad because we never got to see that potential. And what we're talking about is like a 3 or 4 year span where he hits, 42, 44, 40 home runs and has, top 4 MVP finishes and maybe 1 year wins an MVP.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Like, I thought he was going to be this is a high bar, but this is what I thought. I thought he'd be a better version of Ronald Acuna Jr. And that has not been the case. Acuna, broken earlier, was Rookie of the Year. Acuna's also been hurt. He's also got an MVP. He has 2 40 home run seasons. He has a 70 steal season. If you would have told me in 2019 Fernando Tatis Jr. steals 60 bases in a year, I would have believed you. Mm-hmm. I would have. If you would have told me in 2019 Tatis hits 40 plus home runs 4 plus times in his career, I would have believed you. But all these things that I thought were on the horizon remain on the horizon. Possible. He could be his best version of himself at 32, like Manny Machado right now is enjoying one of his better years. He's been very good. And he's still 6 years away from being 32. It's just, again, massive moment in the history of the organization. But like a lot of things with the Padres, a little like unfinished and like far from perfect. Like you love Fernando Tatis Jr. You kind of love some of the warts as well. But we haven't even seen that. We have not seen the best version of this player. And I hope that's true with Toddy.
Like, will we ever see the 2021 Tatis again?
You'd have to think with, age 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, you'd think you'd have another year like that, wouldn't you?
I mean, you thought about it this year with his start.
I thought he hit 40 home runs this year.
He still could.
Yeah.
But he's got a lot of work to do. And right now, it just whatever is going on with him, it's he's gonna have to figure out a way to get out of it. And it's a multiple multitude of things. There you go. Multitude. Thank you. It's multiple things going on with Fernando Tatis right now. So, yeah, I don't know. He has the talent, that's for sure, to hit 40 plus home runs, to steal 30 plus bags, to hit 300, to just do it all. He can do it all, but he's got to stay healthy, and he's got to get out of this funk. And I don't know if we're going to see that 2021 version of Tatis. I'm not going to say ever again, but it's been a while. I mean, that was in 2021. It's 2025.
And
now.
You know what we say about players when it gets to be 3 or 4 years? They're like,
I don't know.
I mean, we're questioning Luis Robert Jr. Completely fair. He did it 2 years ago.
Right.
His year was 2023. Toddy's year was 2021.
I know.
So that's been 4 years. I want to hear from the White Sox GM at the time on the other side of a break.
Okay.
Rick Hahn was the GM of the White Sox in 2016. Wait until you hear, if you haven't heard this, how the Padres ultimately acquire Tatis. It's an amazing story from the former White Sox general manager, Rick Hahn. We'll share that with you on the other side. We have great giveaways today as well. Kevin Acee will join us at 3:30 from San Francisco. A lot to get to. We're here until 6 p.m. This is John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We're on the all-new iHeart Radio app. Put San Diego Sports 760 in your presets. Listen to the show live weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. Put John and Jim in your presets. Listen back to any hour of the show, any interview from the show, including Kevin Acee coming up at 3:30. So, again, we're getting ready for Padres and Giants. We'll hear from Kevin at 3:30. The way the Padres are winning these games, updates if there are any on Darvish and King. But again, 9 years ago today, Jim, they trade for Fernando Tatis Jr. Nobody knew at the time Fernando Tatis Jr. would be Fernando Tatis Jr. And the Padres didn't even ask for him. Listen to this amazing back and forth from MLB Network. Okay, this is with Rick Hahn, the former GM of the White Sox, and also with Matty V, right?
Yep.
Matt Fiskerson as well. Listen to this back and forth from Rick Hahn.
If there's a trade you wish you could have a do-over on. I mean, it begins and ends with Tatis. I mean, what fool would trade him? Here's the thing about Tatis. Obviously, horrible trade. You know, San Diego actually asked for Eric Johnson, who was part of the trade, right-handed pitcher, as well as another arm initially. And we were reluctant to include two arms. The second arm never went on to actually appear. They didn't even ask for Tatis? Initially, it was a different arm. It was a different arm, and we pushed back, and we wound up shuffling and pivoting. In the end, they asked for Tatis, which they deserve a ton of credit for identifying this guy out of complex ball as someone they wanted. At the time, it was 2016. We were dealing with a team that was 23-10 coming out of the gate. We knew we weren't as good as 23-10. Matt Latos was doing some things with smoke and mirrors early on in that season. John Danks was trying to fight his way back from injury and losing that battle. And we had a manager in Robin who kind of knew that, like, this, if we don't win this year, he might not want to be around too much longer on his own volition. So there was a lot pointing towards, let's push in to make this work. Win now. And obviously, I regret the trade. Obviously, it did not work out the way we hoped, because we wound up not winning. And that was probably the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of finally getting us to rebuild. But I understand, and I think I take lessons with me going forward. But frankly, as part of the rebuild was wanting to have the depth to withstand if you didn't have, if you had failure at one spot on that roster, which we just did not have in this sort of piecemeal patch on the fly technique we were using.
So bad trade.
Bad trade
for the White Sox.
6/4/2016 at 2 p.m. The Padres tweeted out, the Padres acquire right-handed pitcher Eric Johnson and infielder Fernando Tatis Jr. from the Chicago White Sox in exchange for right-handed pitcher James Shields in cash.
So that was, literally 9 years and 30 minutes ago.
Right.
It didn't work out for the White Sox. I mean, that's the thing with being a GM. It's a lot like being a field goal kicker. They're going to remember your misses, man. I mean, Preller's had misses. Preller's had hits.
I was watching
a bad miss.
It's a bad miss for them. And there's a reason why he does not have a job now. That's not the sole reason why. It's because they traded away Fernando Tatis Jr., but it's a part of it.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was watching a video today of somebody saying, let's make a baseball team of all the players that AJ Preller has traded away.
And you could have a pretty good one, right?
And it's an all-star team. It's an amazing team.
Yeah, I mean, they traded away Trey Turner, for example. They've traded away Max Fried, for example. I mean, they've traded away stars.
Traded away James Wood. They've traded away Mackenzie Gore, Max Fried, like you said.
Yeah.
Josh Naylor, CJ Abrams.
Abrams would be in there,
They traded away Juan Soto.
True, but they traded for him.
But they
traded away because they didn't have the money. That was like they just kind of felt as if they had to.
Yeah, and again, there's some players in there that, like, you can say that they're like, well, it was technicality here and there, but still, the Padres had them on the team, and AJ Preller traded them away. And this team is like an amazing team. So you're always going to have misses with every GM. No GM is going to be 100% perfect. That's why
all of them.
That's why last year's year for AJ Preller was so impressive, because everything that he did hit.
Well, I loved his deadline. I mean, bolstering that bullpen.
Everything was perfect.
I mean, Tanner Scott a year ago was Tanner Scott.
Unhittable.
And it worked out really well. I mean, that's why I always go back to, there's been criticism of Preller since October, and the team he put together in 2024. I'm like, leave Preller out of 2024. Like they win 93 games, most since 1998. They close the way they close. They're bolstered by the deadline. They didn't lose to the Dodgers because of AJ Preller.
No.
They lost the Dodgers because of a lack of ability to come through over those 2 games. That had nothing to do with their general manager. He put them in a position where they were as well positioned as any team in baseball to do it, and they just didn't do it.
Yeah,
over 2 random nights.
Dodgers outplayed them. Their pitching definitely won them that series.
Yep, absolutely.
And every single Padres player went into a collective slump in that 2 games.
I just wonder on the Tatis trade, putting a bow on it 9 years ago today, what are we waiting for? Am I waiting for him to hit in 6 consecutive games, but it's all like singles and doubles? Am I waiting for a 2-home run game? When is it going to feel like he's back to Fernando Tatis Jr.? Am I looking for something? The mannerisms he's displaying on field? Do I need to see April of this year? I mean, can you imagine having 2 polar opposite months like this? From MVP month to replacement level month?
His last 30 games, John, he's hitting 205 with an OPS in the 600s, 5 home runs, 10 RBIs.
I don't even know if that tells the full story.
It doesn't.
To be honest.
It doesn't. And his numbers in the short span are even worse. I mean, those last 15 games, he's hitting 153.
Right.
With a 500 OPS.
So, like, can someone please? I would love to, because Schilt last night, they win. And I give him credit for doing this. He's talking about Xander Bogaerts, his base running and his fielding. He should be. He talks about Fernando Tatis Jr., his base running and what it means to the team. But what happened to the hitter that we know that Fernando Tatis Jr. is? Like that hitter that through April, I'm looking it up right now, including the last week of March to start the year, through April, Toddy was hitting 345 with a 1,011 OPS, 8 home runs through April. How? What happened?
Well,
just baseball?
No, it's not just baseball.
That's
There's other factors there, but it's fix your camera. It's Fernando Tatis Jr. And you look at his numbers pre-injury, pre-suspension, and then post-injury, post-suspension. Maybe this is the guy. Maybe this is who he is now. A guy that has a low 800 OPS.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to hit you 40, 2 home runs, but he'll get you 25 to 30 bombs. And you just hope that he's hot at the right time.
I guess we have to be cool with that. His September last year was unbelievable. His October was great.
He's been a great postseason player.
He's been great in the postseason.
And that's all that matters is if he has a season where, he hits 22 home runs in 150 games, but in the postseason, he hit 7 home runs on their way to a World Series.
Which he could do.
He could
do.
Then who cares about what he did in the regular season?
Right.
Like he showed up when the lights were the brightest. But it is interesting that you look at his numbers, pre-injury and suspension. It's like, dude had a 969 OPS, a 937 OPS, and 975 OPS. And then now the last 3 years, he has a 771 OPS, an 832 OPS, and right now an 818 OPS.
Well, let me do the actual numbers. Those 3 years you mentioned, that combines to be 965. That was his OPS until the injuries and the suspension. And then since that moment, since he returned to the field from a 965 OPS until today, it's at 800 on the nose. Entering tonight's game in San Francisco, he's lost 165 points on his OPS over the last 3 years. Is it health?
It's a lot of things.
It's a lot of things. I think it's a lot of things as well. So anyway, interestingly, 9 years ago today, Fernando Tatis Jr. again traded infamously by the White Sox to the Padres. We're still looking to see Fernando Tatis Jr. live up to his true potential, I think.
But more importantly, like in the here and now, he needs to get out of this slump.
Oh my gosh!
I'm not even asking him to be the guy that he 975 OPS, but you can't be where he is right now, especially as your leadoff hitter.
I agree.
So that's the most important thing here and now. We can talk about Tatis's like career trajectory and all the narratives on Tatis and stuff later. But as of like right now, tonight, how about you put together a game where you have 2 hits with like a 2-run double?
That'd be nice. Be really nice.
Just something to get started.
All right. We just found out about a really great giveaway we have to share with our listeners, and we'll do that on the other side. A terrific giveaway we'll tell you about on the other side is for something going on this weekend. In addition, Kevin Acee will join us from San Francisco coming up at 3:30 as we get ready for game 3 of this 4-game series. The Padres have won the first 2 games. They're 8-3 now in their last 11 games overall, despite their offensive struggles and their pitching injuries. We'll tell you about a great giveaway on the other side. Hour 2 of John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app is next.
All right, so that's brought to you by Staples. We'll start with the Padres. They take on the Giants tonight. 3rd game of a 4-game series up in the Bay Area. 6:45 once again. First pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres. And at 6 p.m., SDFC Midweek Live with Darren and Adrian. 1 full hour of SDFC talk right here on San Diego Sports 760. How many times have we all said that was easy? Well, the Staples Easy button is back, and it's got everyone saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos, plus quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. staples. That was easy.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of John and Jim, where Kevin Acee will join us at 3:30, and where we tell you right now about a great giveaway that you've got a chance to win today. We'll qualify a listener this hour, next hour, and in the 5 p.m. hour, and announce a grand prize winner of these tickets at 5:30. San Diego FC hosting 16-time Liga MX champions Club America this Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium, a match that is not televised and can only be heard right here on San Diego Sports 760. We have STFC Club America in San Diego at Snapdragon on Saturday night at 7 p.m. Tickets are available at sandiegofc.com, but you can win a pair of them right here. When you hear a goal call from Adrian Garcia Marquez, their play-by-play voice, you call 877-767-4760. We'll qualify a listener this hour, next hour, 5 o'clock hour. Among the 3 qualifiers, one of you will win the grand prize, which is 2 free tickets to Saturday's match against Club America. We have tickets today, Jim. We have tickets tomorrow, Jim. We have tickets Friday, Jim.
Wow.
I just want to say Jim 3 times.
Say it.
We have tickets today, Jim. We have tickets tomorrow, Jim. We have tickets Friday, Jim. Now, we don't have tickets to give away for yesterday night. We only have tickets for today. If you know, you know, from last night's back page.
I showed that to Aaron last night. Yesterday night, excuse me.
Yeah. So Jim said last night, the back page yesterday night.
And she didn't understand. She's like, what are you showing me? And I said, it's how I said yesterday night instead of last night. And then she took her like watching it 3 times to like understand what I was trying to show her, how I was an idiot. And then she looked at me and she goes, why did you say yesterday night? It's last night.
Right.
I was like, I know, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
Yesterday night. Listen for the Adrian Garcia Marquez goal call. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win those 2 free tickets for Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. All right. Are you holding... You saw this from Kevin Acee. Talking Friars has tweeted it. It's been discussed a little bit in the last 24 hours. This idea that Manny Machado at Petco tries to do too much because on the Jumbotron, when he comes up to the plate in big spots, they put up the Manny. And Machado was quoted as saying, in terms of how he's been hitting so successfully here recently, he's not trying to do too much, he said. He said, AJ tells me all the time he doesn't like when they start cheering my name because then I'm trying to get too big and try to do too much, but just not trying to do too much. Know the situation, what the game calls for. That situation, bases loaded, fast runner on second base. I don't got to hit a gap. A single gets the job done. He's talking about last night. So trying to be short, just trying to get something to the outfield or through the infield. Just try to keep it simple. Ben Fadden is now holding the Padres Jumbotron people accountable for some of Machado's struggles in those big spots previously. Would you agree with that?
Hold on. Read that again. AJ Preller does what?
AJ Preller tells Manny that he doesn't like when they start cheering his name, the fans, because they do the Manny on the video board because he tries to do too much in those spots. When he just tries to keep it simple is when he comes through. This is according to Manny.
So he wants to basically have people tell him that he sucks or just shut up.
Right, no cheering.
Oh, yeah, that'll be easy.
I mean, right.
Come
You're
on.
going to cheer Manny Machado when he comes to the play with
Hey,
the
guys,
bases loaded.
Calm down. Our $350 million player doesn't like when everybody screams his name.
It's not that he doesn't like it. It's that Preller's saying he tries to be like hero. He plays hero ball because he's trying to hit the grand slam or come through in the clutch. He's like, I can come through in the clutch without being a hero. Just put bat on ball.
Yeah. And you're a professional athlete
And by the
getting
way,
paid millions of dollars.
And he's been a great clutch hitter in his career. His bases loaded numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah, his bases,
career.
yeah.
We've talked about it
they're
before.
what? He's at like 350 something?
For his career.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, postseason, completely different story. He's been awful in the
So maybe
postseason.
don't chant his name in October.
Right. October, don't chant his name. But in the regular season, he's been great in the regular season. October, different story.
What do you make of that? I mean, that's Manny saying it. It's not Fadden saying it.
I think it's funny that AJ Preller is
telling Manny,
talking to Manny all the time. Like, dude, I
Hey.
hate when everyone chants your name.
hey,
bro.
shorten up, dude. Like, stop trying to be the hero.
Like, oh, thanks, AJ. I'm glad that you're
Right.
giving me advice on how to,
right.
hit the gap, bro.
Yeah, thanks. Like, are you like Barry Bonds?
AJ.
I'm just trying to find it here because Machado in his career, with the bases loaded, for example, has hit. Listen to this, guys. He's hit 351 career with the bases loaded with a 1054 OPS
Is that
career.
good? Is that good?
So I feel like he's come through in those big spots, even when people are chanting his name.
Yeah, I think it's okay that people chant his name, even though AJ Preller talks to Manny all the time about that, which I think is hilarious.
That is amazing. His career numbers with men in scoring position. This is amazing. This is how you get to the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. His career numbers with men in scoring position. He's hit 310 for his career with a 923 OPS. That's how you get to the Hall of Fame. He's approaching 2,000 hits, by the way, with his 4 hits last night.
All right, so Petco Park Jumbotron guy. I want the next time Manny's up in a big situation late in the game at Petco Park, I want all the Jumbotrons to just go black.
Go black.
Just go black.
Say like work in progress.
Or
Quiet.
just don't even acknowledge that Manny's up at the plate.
But hasn't he been good at Petco historically? Like, is that like a bad hitter at Petco Park? Is he? I can find that too. It's not a bad hitter at Petco Park.
I don't think so.
There's no way he's a bad hitter at Petco Park. There's no way. Not possible.
Power numbers might not be there. Like
That's
his
because it's
home run.
Petco Park.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Now, I don't blame the scoreboard guy. Like, the scoreboard guy is not the
Scoreboard
reason.
guy's there looking at like,
He's
why
why are you looking at me?
You're looking at me for?
I mean, maybe he gets some of the blame for the Kershaw meme, but you can't put everything on scoreboard guy. Like, you got to take some accountability for the team. The team's good at home. Scoreboard
Dude,
guy
what
should
are we
get credit.
doing?
Team is good at home.
Scoreboard guy's getting thrown on the bus here by
Right.
AJ Preller.
Right.
I hate when the scoreboard guy puts Manny's name up there. It makes him try to do too much.
I need to
Scoreboard
find
guy.
out. By the way, Manny in his career at Petco has an 841 OPS. What's that compared to his career OPS?
That's higher than his career OPS.
It's higher than his career OPS. So he's been a good hitter.
Yeah.
In a tough hitting ballpark historically. It gets the rep for that. Petco Park. So he's been a good hitter. Maybe not the best hitter in baseball history at Petco Park or Betco Park.
Betco Park.
Which will be the name once betting is legalized.
Yeah, I like Betco Park
Hey,
better.
you can pick up a dog and also place your bets for tonight's game at Betco.
Yeah, we can worry about the name change of Petco to Betco here pretty soon.
Hey, Petco, I want 10%. Like, when you legalize betting, you pick up a cat and place wagers on the Padres. That's
great.
That's a winning combination.
All right, so if we gotta talk to the Jumbotron, the scoreboard announce people.
Scoreboard announce people.
I don't even know what to call them. Like, what do I call
okay.
Jumbotron
like the scoreboard guy. You're right, not the PA guy.
No, that's Alex.
But the guy that puts like the video on the video board.
Right.
Puts the graphics up.
Whoever that guy is.
Yeah, but he has a ball. He's not just like arbitrarily like, well, he might have actually with Kershaw meme.
Well, then let's talk to Eric Meyer. Hey, Eric, because he's in
the communications.
Yeah, he's in charge of all that.
I don't think Eric Meyer is.
Well, Eric, I'm sure Eric Meyer could tell somebody that knows somebody, hey, when Manny's up, that's not starting Manny Chan on the scoreboard.
Do you think now that this will actually be a thing? The next time when they get back home, the Dodgers are here Monday.
Yeah.
You don't need to try to be a hero against them. You don't want to try to do too much. It's big enough as it is. Do you think when the Dodgers are here and Manny's batting with second and third and one out, in the third inning, they start the Manny chant.
Well, that's also assuming that 48,000 Padres fans, including kids, are reading Kevin Acey's newsletter.
No, but I'm saying is the Jumbotron guy reading it. Does this get to Eric Meyer? Does he forward the email to the Jumbotron guy? And he's like, yo, let's come up with a new
By the
plan.
way, I've been to hundreds of Padres games. I don't remember a time where like the Jumbotron specifically had a Manny.
Right, you're saying it just happens organically.
Yeah, it's from the fans. Like the fans scream Manny's
which
name.
is kind of their job.
Yeah, so if AJ Preller is saying, I hate when the fans scream his name, it's really hard to like stop that. Hey guys, quiet down. You think?
Shut up.
You think AJ is like, hey Manny, I got an idea, buddy. So next time you're up with the bases loaded in a big situation, I want you to step out of the batter's box, use your timeout, turn to the crowd, and do the quiet
What
sign.
about earplugs? For Manny.
This is so stupid.
Don't even look at the video board, dude. Look at center field. Look at the batter's eye. It's ridiculous. But the fact that Manny Machado is quoted as being, I mean, this is a topic of conversation. This is Manny Machado saying that AJ Preller tells him that they don't like it when they put his name on the video board, because then Preller feels as if Manny tries to do too much because they're putting additional pressure on him.
Give me a break.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
I'm sorry. Dude, you're the highest paid player on the team. If you're sitting there being like, dude, I don't like when the pressure's caught, like, stop.
AJ tells me all the time he doesn't like when they start cheering my name. I mean, they're fans.
What?
Because then I'm trying to get too big and try to do too much.
Hey, kid in the fourth row.
Shut up.
Shut up. I'm trying to concentrate up here.
Take your Machado jersey
You're
off.
making me nervous.
It's ridiculous. He's been in the big leagues for like 15 years. He's played in World Series.
I know.
I mean,
multiple
he's been in the
All-Star
postseason.
games, postseason, on the road, big situations.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, the group of 10-year-olds in the left field bleachers.
That's why his team can never win in the postseason.
That's the problem.
This is why Manny has struggled.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he sucks in the postseason.
The thing is, I mean, yeah, I don't even want to give it more attention than that, but it is interesting that Machado commented on
Jumbotron guys like, me?
You looking at me like that meme?
Me?
That meme?
Yeah, I
like
know.
Me?
Yeah, me?
That's
I'm the problem
hilarious.
here? Just because you can't hit in the postseason, I'm the problem?
We can ask Kevin about it. He wrote it today.
I know.
He published the quote.
How do we
today.
change this, Kevin? Who's to blame for this?
Jumbotron guy.
Who's the Jumbotron guy? Who do we need to talk to?
Kevin Acey will join us at 3:30. Be listening for that goal sounder from Adrian Garcia Marquez. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win 2 free tickets to see San Diego FC against Club America this Saturday at 7 p.m. at Snapdragon Stadium. By the way, tickets are available at san diegofc.com. But we have 2 free tickets we're giving away today at 5:30. We're qualifying a listener this hour, next hour, and in the 5 p.m. hour. Kevin Acey will join us coming up at 3:30. This is John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, be listening for that goal call on the radio from SDFC. When you hear a call, 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC Club America this Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. Don't cheer too loudly when SDFC has the ball in the attacking.
Yeah, you hear
third.
that Jumbotron guy? I don't want to hear any. I don't want to see any like "Let's go" Chucky on the Jumbotron or anything like that during any match.
Pipe down.
Yeah, everybody calm
close
down
to the goal.
All right, no cheering, anybody.
Oh man,
you're making these guys nervous. All right, and you're really upsetting their GM. AJ does not like when Jumbotron guy puts the Manny on the scoreboard.
And if he really doesn't like it, then I'm sure he could just talk to the Jumbotron guy. Doesn't have some agenda.
I mean,
He's like, I'm I'm putting my foot down, AJ.
Dude,
I'm not taking the Manny off the Jumbotron.
AJ tells me all the time he doesn't like when they start cheering my name because then I'm trying to get too big and trying to do too much.
But do you feel like the Jumbotron guy has an agenda? Wouldn't he just change it if AJ Preller asked?
I'm sure that it could be changed very quickly.
Yeah, they could just put like something else in the video.
Like, let's go Padres.
Let's go Padres. Yeah. By the way, is that too much pressure? Let's go. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. It's just,
we're going to ask Kevin about this.
I need to know, Kevin, are there plans to have Jumbotron guy change anything that he's been doing lately? After this reporting that you have on Manny Machado and what AJ Preller does not like.
You can't just be like, you can't put like a pink slip in Jumbotron guy's locker and be like, yo, you're out.
No, you're not going to fire the guy.
For dismissal.
No, but you can say, hey, no more Manny, whatever they put on the scoreboard.
Right. Brent, what do you got?
Is this the same guy that put up the Clayton Kershaw meme?
Well, that's the thing. Hey, that might have been a slap on the wrist, but now that you're putting Manny up there, you got to go.
Because I thought I was doing good.
It's a probation violation.
Right.
I'm trying to help our team out.
Well, what's the excuse for Fernando Tatis Jr.? What's the excuse for Sanders? Is Jumbotron guy also to blame for Toddy?
I'm going to blame Jumbotron guy now for every player that slumps.
Jumbotron guy switch after the 2021 season when Toddy hit 42 home runs.
Jumbotron guys there just like, it's all my fault.
These
guys are slumping because of me.
By the way, have you seen the Jumbotron? It's big. There's not one guy.
No, there's like
it's like a series of people.
Yeah, it's so you know where it's at.
The press box. There's a whole room, of course.
Yeah, it's a huge room. You can see it from sitting in the stand.
Yeah, they have a whole group of employees that are doing whatever work is necessary to put on like the entertainment product during the course of a game. I don't know. To me, that's overly simplifying it.
Scott in our chat says everyone can just whisper, Manny.
Well, what do they do in the other ballparks in America? Don't they do the same thing for like Ronald Acuna or Freddie Freeman?
I'm sure they have
Bryce Harper.
I'm sure they have things on the Jumbotron that say like, let's go Judge, or let's go Acuna or something.
I mean, they chanted Hassan Kim for 10 years. He didn't necessarily come through in the clutch, but
I know.
You know,
he was like the greatest chant ever in this town.
He's probably still having his name chanted, even though he doesn't play here.
That dumb video I posted like years ago.
It still get views.
It's got like 200,000 views on it
of fans just chanting Hassan Kim inside Petco Park.
That's it.
I don't know what to say about that other than Kevin AC will join us coming up at 3:30.
I will, and Rich McGuire in our chat makes a really good point.
Okay.
I will say that when Jumbotron guy puts up, let's make some noise.
But this is not Jumbotron guy doesn't work for himself. To your point, he's got a boss.
I know. That's why I think
the boss, they go over this stuff.
I think it might be Eric Meyer. I'm not calling him out. I'm just saying, like, I think that's the person.
Somewhere Eric Meyer's like on vacation. Like,
no, he's not on vacation.
How am I getting blamed for this?
But but it is like when you see on the Jumbotron, let's make noise. Isn't that a little cringy?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's not only happening here. All that stuff.
No, it happens everywhere, dude. That happens everywhere.
They do the same thing.
There's some places some places they don't do that because the fans are just organically loud. Oh, they don't need a Jumbotron to tell them
where. Because I don't think so. Like, you're saying they need to say make noise because Padres fans aren't capable of doing it on their own?
No, I think they just do it to like get people to focus on the game. They're like, hey guys,
maybe.
There's so much to do around Petco Park. We need you to focus on the game now, so make some noise.
Right.
I don't know. Does Wrigley do that? I don't think.
Well, Wrigley doesn't even like have a video board.
That's my point.
Do they, Brent?
They have one now.
Yeah, they built one a couple of years ago.
Like they have 4 feet by 4 feet.
No, it's a big one.
It's big because all the people on the rooftops bitched about it because
Right.
it was blocking their view of the free game they were
They
watching.
have lights till 1990. I'm like, use Wrigley as my example.
Michael said in the chat, Jumbotron guy secretly Eric Hosmer.
They're gonna get rid of Jumbotron guy and replace him with Yonder Alonso.
So basically, what we have learned today is whenever Manny does not come through at Petco Park, blame Jumbotron guy.
Well, that I don't like that. I don't like the.
I don't
in
either.
the excuse making. Manny is the last person we should. Manny's been fine.
He's been great.
Jumbotron guy should get erased. Manny's hitting 330.
The dude has been amazing the last 11 games.
Jumbotron guy or Manny?
Manny, not Jumbotron guy.
What's their record at home? One of the best in baseball.
Probably really good.
It is.
Let's give Jumbotron guy more credit.
He should get a raise because they're at least playing like 667 baseball at home, I think.
Yeah, they're 20-10 at home.
Yeah, that's very good, especially by their standards. It's one of the best records in the National League at home. So I feel bad for Jumbotron guy today. Is the moral of the story.
I really do. I hope Jumbotron guy's not reading this article and being like, am I the problem?
I so hope that Mike Schilt is asked during pregame. And
Oh my gosh,
about
dude.
Jumbotron guy. I pray.
Oh my God.
Like, or when they get home Monday, not, hey, it's Dodgers for the first time since the NLDS. Hey, Manny was quoted recently as saying, it's if Jumbotron guy gets mentioned by Mike Schilt at some point in the next week, we're all winners.
Not only are we all winners, it's going to turn into the greatest content that this show
Possible
may have ever had.
I need Mike Schilt in all seriousness talking about the Jumbotron and how it impacts Manny Machado.
And he
I
would
need
talk
it
for
now.
at least 3 to 4 minutes on it.
Absolutely. As he should.
Oh,
Maybe we'll hear that coming up
I need
later
it like
today.
I need air to breathe.
We'll hear from Mike Schilt likely around 5 p.m. His pregame comments. Padres going for a series win in San Francisco. It's a 4-game set. They're trying to take a commanding 3-0 advantage in this series. By the way, they've dominated in the early going against the NL West opponents. What are they, 9-1? Did we decide, Jim? 9-1 against the NL West?
They're 4-0 against the Giants, and they're 5-1 against the Rockies.
So 9-1 through 10 games in the division. They haven't played the Dodgers. They haven't played the D-backs, but I'll take 9-1 against
Take
anyone.
9-1 every day of the week.
Absolutely. All right, Kevin Acey will join us on the other side. His thoughts on Jumbotron Gate, the latest on Yu Darvish and Michael King as the Padres get ready again for the Giants. Plus, be listening for that goal call. When you hear a call, 877-767-4760 for your chance to qualify to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC against Club America Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, hey guys, it is John and Jim again for the all-new Humboldt Casino Resort, the Players Place. They've got the Players Party going on next weekend, Saturday, June 14th. Get ready to kick off summer in style. It's their annual event, $20 free play for all from 6 a.m. to midnight, free food for all from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Jive Lounge. It's an event you won't want to miss, so join them to start the summer off right.
And a couple things happening this weekend and next weekend. This Saturday, June 7th at 7 p.m., UFC 316. You can catch all the action at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, Loft 94, or their poker rooms. And then next Sunday, June 15th, celebrate Father's Day brunch at Prime Cut from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Show Dad just how much he means to you with a decadent brunch at Prime Cut featuring lobster tails and hand-carved prime rib. Make his day extra special with a meal he'll love.
And again, catch the Padres, NBA postseason, and more at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, where fandom meets fantastic at the all-new Humboldt Casino Resort, the Players Place.
All right, this update's brought to you by Staples. We'll start with the Padres. Game 3 of their 4-game series tonight in the Bay Area. 6:45 first pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres. And tonight, 6 p.m., SDFC Midweek Live. 1 full hour of SDFC talk with Darren and Adrian Garcia Marquez right here on San Diego Sports 760. How many times have we all said that was easy? Well, the Staples Easy button is back, and it's got everyone saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos, plus quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples. That was easy.
All right, Kevin, back with us here from San Francisco. Padres and Giants getting ready for game 3 of their 4-game series tonight at 6:45 as we kick off hour 2 of John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760. So, Kevin, full disclosure, we have spent the last 30 minutes on the Manny quote about not trying to do too much that you published today in the UT. Yeah, because we kind of like laugh at it and we're like, is this actually a thing? I need your opinion on that quote. That Preller doesn't like the chance because Manny's sometimes trying to do too much at Petco Park. What do you make of the fact that Preller has that interaction with Manny and that Manny feels some of that in some of those clutch spots at home? And thanks for hopping on.
Well, I do think it's interesting. I think maybe you guys spend a little too much time on that, but that's okay. No, I look, Preller has these kind of conversations. I can picture AJ saying that to Manny in a joking way. And there is truth to it, like a lot of jokes. Manny it was interesting because Manny said it when Manny will always deny it. It's one of his strengths. To him, baseball's just baseball. Every day is the same. Well, I'm sorry, he's human. And other people say that, confirm what sometimes our eyes tell us, which is, of course he presses. Of course he's trying to do too much sometimes. I don't think necessarily it has anything to do with the chant. So I've seen it on the road, and that's not what they're chanting at Manny on the road.
No.
And so, that to make too much of it is a danger. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm just saying, I appreciate Manny's candor, and that it was funny and all that. But I don't think at all that Manny meant yeah, man, we got to stop that chant, or man, I do try too much or whatever. But that's just a fact of every one of those guys, and especially a guy who knows how important he is. That's who he is. He's supposed to be the guy who does what he did last night. And so that he feels that sometime. And that was a perfect at bat, to just be all right, this is what I need to do. I'm going to reach down there and put that ball right there, little two-hand to forehand. And it was perfect.
Well, the one person that we definitely need to hear about this quote is from Mike Schilt.
Yes. Can you please get Mike Schilt to comment on this, Kevin? I need Mike Schilt and the Jumbotron guy.
Yes, we need to know his thoughts on Jumbotron guy. That's all.
I'm sure that he thinks the Jumbotron guy does a great job. Everybody in the organization does a great job. Yeah. But, if you want to talk about just the Jumbotron guy, I really like what he does. So that's what Mike was saying.
100%. Kevin, Darvish, he threw 16 or 17 pitches the other day. What's the latest with him and his rehab here?
And then just to be clear, so Darvish says 16 or 17, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the great thing about the Japanese media. They chart everything. Mm-hmm. So it turns out it was 19, just to be clear.
Oh, of course.
It is amazing. Darvish, is like 16 or 17, which is perfectly fine. That's close enough to 19. It wasn't like he threw 30 and he told us 16. But I think that was funny because one of them, T, who basically follows Kikuchi and Darvish around the country, she came up and said, I want you to know that it was 19. All right, good.
That's funny.
So it's just phenomenal. They just watch him so much. Anyway, all right. So maybe that was funny just to me. And so Darvish, that's a good sign, man. It is. And I'm sure you guys feel this way. Okay, what's next, right? He says he's expected to do a bullpen Friday. Now, that's not clear if that's at Petco or he's going with the team to Milwaukee. But either way, to go again Friday and to maybe a few more pitches right? He went from 6 or 7 to 19 to 30, which is now we're more close to like a bullpen session, like a full-on bullpen session. Does he also take up the intensity a little bit, get to the low 90s, which by the way is like something that's sort of been kicked around, like, hey, if we're figuring out how to pitch at 39, which he almost is, then maybe like 97, you don't got to throw 97. So like, this is all like a work in progress. And I thought, and I think they thought yesterday was a significant step.
Kevin Acey's our Padres insider is back with us right now on John and Jim. I don't know if it matters if this is sustainable, but what do you make of the way the Padres are winning right now? There was this ridiculous stat last night from OptaStats, like first team to be shut out through 8 innings in back-to-back games, to win back-to-back games since like the 2001 Diamondbacks. We should be giving them credit, right? I mean, this offense is in a funk, but they're 8-3 in their last 11 games.
It's a great question and a great point. Like I think my line today was that it's as impressive as it is scary.
Right.
Like you're just not going to, they're in a stretch right now where they've won 7 of 9. 5 of those 7 wins have been comebacks, multi-run comebacks, 2 or 3 runs. And there was a 6-run in there. That's incredible because like, first of all, they have the 2nd or 3rd most multi-run comeback victories this season. And 5 of them have come in their last 7 victories. Like it just doesn't happen. I think they might have had 8 all last year. Or no, that was 2023. They had 8. It was like 18 last year. My point is there. Take all those numbers and go, wow, yeah, this doesn't happen. So the answer to your question is it's not sustainable. But then also I'm like with you, like you got to give them credit for this. Like this is something. I'll tell you this. Bob Melvin doesn't recognize this Padres team. Like this is not that team.
No, it definitely isn't because he wishes it was this team.
Well, the 2023 Padres just did not do what the 24 and 25 Padres have done. Like,
right.
They did what that 2 weeks was like, right? Where it's like, oh, it's 2-0 in the 6th. All right, game over. Like that was 2023. Yeah. And so absolutely give this version of the Padres credit.
And they also couldn't win a game in extra innings if their life depended on it. So that was another thing there. Fernando Tatis Jr., he's still slumping. He had a good game last night, 2 walks, a huge walk there in the 9th inning. I thought he had a good game last night. What signs are you looking for, Kevin, that you're seeing or looking for? Like, okay, he's slowly getting out of this slump here.
I think he's going to burst out of it. But it will be because of, and he's trying to gain a little more consistency in how he approaches his at bats. Like if you watch, like it's almost like 3 different stances you've seen in some games. He started out the season with no leg kick, so he does that sometimes now. Then there's the big leg kick. Then there's the little leg kick. Like it's a sign, as if his swing and all the ground outs and the fact that he's not, getting the ball in the air very much unless it's pop up. Aren't sign enough, but it's a sign that he's trying to get his timing right. That's what it is. We can look at all these other things, but the guy is batting like whatever, 200 against fastballs since the beginning of May. It was 400 before that. Like I said, his launch angle, cratered. So the crazy thing is hitting the ball just as hard and most of the time and not chasing. So this is a different kind of Fernando slump. I got something coming out in a little bit. Just having talked to him about, kind of the whole deal and other people too. But I put Fernando in there about, trying to keep his attitude up. Like that's a big deal for this team. I think it's bigger than maybe, I know that everyone reads into everything and I caution against that. But like it's a big deal to this team about how like Fernando's energy. And so he's working on that. And I think that's a part of it too. It just is like, look, I don't blame him. Like I think Fernando, like a lot of great people, Fernando's greatest strength can be his weakness as well. And that's his passion for this game. And so he's been kind of in a funk, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever, and all of it together. And I think he's going to burst out of it. I do. But I don't know when.
And that's something
if I did, well, that would make me amazing. So
that would make you amazing.
You'd be
Kevin.
better than Jumbotron guy.
You would be. You should buy a couple lottery tickets too. And that's something that we've talked about with the energy of this team, because last year that came from Jerks and Profar. Like Jerks and Profar, you looked at it, okay, he's bringing the energy, and this year it was like, who's going to bring the energy to this team? So Do you feel like Tatis is feeling pressure there that he has to bring the energy because it's gone now with Profar?
I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't really even want to speculate. I mean, Fernando brought energy too, though I want to absolutely affirm you. You're absolutely right. And I mean, I wrote it several times that was a part of the reason. Like, they certainly didn't know they were getting an all-star last year from Jerickson. One of the reasons he was here was because of the cachet he had and the sway and his relationship with Tatis, with Manny, and his ability to be the one to say, get out of the dumps, or, whatever it was. And that wasn't worth $14 million a year. But
Right.
It is missing this year for sure. And I wanted to bring just to light that is important for Tatis. I don't want us to overplay it. He's trying, as I point out in my story. Look, the guy has been up for every one of Manny's homers. It's not like he's staying in the dugout and not celebrating, but like, he goes in after one of those at bats and he's not sulking. Well, he is, but he's thinking about that at bat and how to have a better at bat next time. And you know what? I'm not going to cast any stones. Like, that's kind of how I am. Like, I screwed up something in a story and like it bothers me for a whole day and I'm not in a very good mood. Well, I'm nowhere near like the level of what I do compared to what he does. Like, I respect how he goes about his business, but he also knows like there is more to it than his OPS. Like, he is a spark and he needs to sort of, be cool.
What would you say? Like, I think there's a narrative out there that he's not the same player since 2021. Not for me. I think there would be nationally, hey, he was suspended. He's also dealt with injuries. We just looked it up. He has a 965 OPS through 2021. He has an 800 OPS since through today. So 165 points lower. What would your reaction? What is the reason for that? You've been with this team. You've watched this player for the better part of the last 6 or 7 years. When you hear 965 OPS his first 3 years in the big leagues, 800 OPS the last 3 years in the big leagues, where would your mind go with that?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to try to like dismiss the time missed and why he missed it. I can't make a definitive statement on that. I do know that like 2023, he played that year without having played for more than a year.
Right.
And that was tough. Then last year had what was his, I don't know what his final OPS was. It was close to 9 or
it was like low 800s. I think it was like 820 something.
He was amazing in September and October. And
he played almost the entire first 3 months.
Right.
With like a broken leg. Like,
right.
That's exaggerating only slightly.
Yep.
So like, there's that. So injuries for sure, but screwing with his consistency. I am not going to like, this guy has played at some high levels. You mentioned the end of last year, the postseason. Like, I think that negates the PED thing. To a large level, it should at least make us be careful with throwing that out there. So there's that, but I'm trying to be fair and responsible and not a homer and do what my job is. And say, yeah, you know what? Let's see how this career plays out. And if it continues to play out at where he's a good, not great player, well, then you know what? Whether it's true or not, Fernando brought that on himself.
Right. No, I think it's well said. And for another day, and maybe it's in your article, but we're up against it, but in his career, he's hit left-handed pitching better than right-handed pitching. And this year he cannot hit left-handed pitching. He has not
and
hit.
I think that was last year too, though.
Yeah,
I might be wrong.
Yeah.
I think that was last year.
That's interesting. Too. I mean, he's under 200 against left-handed pitching this year. Yeah. And for his career, he's hit 279 against left-handed pitching. So for whatever reason, he just has not figured out southpaws here recently. Kevin, appreciate it. Padres have won 2 straight in San Francisco, 8 of 11 overall. We'll catch up with you from Milwaukee on Friday, and thanks for doing it, as always.
All right, take care.
All right, great stuff. From Kevin AC, brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place. I want to react to all of that on the other side, plus be listening for that goal call. When you hear the call from Adrian Garcia Marquez, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC versus Club America Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. This is John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
Chucky Lozano went chuk chuk boom.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. The wrap coming up at 4. We are qualifying a listener every hour for a chance to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC against Club America Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. You'll have a chance in the 4 and 5 o'clock hours to qualify. We'll announce the winner of those 2 free tickets at 5:30 today. We have Del Mar San Diego County Fair tickets to give away at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. We have Dirks Bentley. We have everything. We have everything. Everything must go.
If you want it, we have it.
It's a liquidation. Right?
Just get rid of all the multitude.
Everything's got to go. John and Jim, highest bidder.
Yeah,
everything's got to go.
$2. We'll take it.
Exactly. The commissioner of Major League Baseball. Do you know who that is?
Rob Manfred.
Yes. So Evan Drelich, who covers the business of baseball, among other things in the sport,
Yes.
has tweeted out within the last few minutes that Rob Manfred said tonight, he must be out east, that he's quote unquote hopeful that in the next few weeks prior to the All-Star game, they'll know what they're doing with their TV rights for 2026, 2027, and 2028 that ESPN previously held. This is Sunday Night Baseball and other games, including, I want to say, the Home Run Derby and the wild card round. So ESPN will no longer have Sunday Night Baseball, Home Run Derby, wild card round, other exclusive MLB games, and baseball will know before the All-Star game where these national rights are heading in 2026. This is something we talked about yesterday with Apple TV as a possibility, at least, for MLB.
Yeah, baseball is going to have to, I mean, they're going to have to find a home that really values them. Because ESPN didn't value baseball in the last
20 years,
15, 20 years.
Right.
Like it just shifted towards football, and rightfully so, and college football, rightfully so, SEC. Like,
yep, you're right.
Those are what's going to drive the ratings and bring the most money. So that's how it is in business, is what gives us the most money, what makes us the most money, and it's not going to be baseball. And so they didn't value them. They just didn't. They have no baseball talk at all on their network. None. Jeff Passan's on like 2 minutes, maybe like
a week.
Yeah,
every few days, maybe.
And the only time he's really on Scott Van Pelt show is if like there's a trade or anything. You know, you don't have segments dedicated to baseball anymore.
No, they're never going to have mods to be like Ronald Acuna Jr.'s Red Hot.
Yeah, never.
That's not going to happen.
They never have segments on their stupid talking head shows.
Never.
Or the 55 shows that Stephen A. Smith does on ESPN. They're never, and by the way, I don't want to hear Stephen A. Smith talk baseball because there's no baseball. So they're going to have to go somewhere that like values them. And if they go to Apple TV, then I hope that they create like a Apple TV Plus show for baseball, or like I don't know. It's always hard to replicate stuff that's like perfect, like inside the NBA. But you know, get some baseball players that are good talking about baseball. I don't know.
Fox has tried that. They've gone with some big personality, A-Rod, David Ortiz.
Yeah, it doesn't do
it. I agree. It's harder in baseball than it is in basketball.
Yeah, they
have tried more. The issue, and I would say the issue with Apple TV, I love Apple TV. But is it somewhat, you're going from ESPN, a true leader in the category where everyone goes to it,
cable
to
television.
Apple TV, where they do a nice presentation. But I mean, what percent of people are you reaching? You're reaching a lot of people on ESPN. Are you getting that same reach when you're asking someone to go to Apple TV? I don't know the answer. Maybe they can get that reach. It seems far-fetched.
When you're a regionalized sport.
Yeah, maybe that's what you're going to get.
That's what you're going to get. You're not going to find somewhere that's going to give you that big boom like ESPN gave you.
By the way, if you wanted more Stephen A. Smith, you saw this?
Yeah,
you're going to get it.
I did see this.
He will once again have a radio show. We'll have a 2-hour show. His deal is so bizarre. It'll be on Sirius XM. He's replacing that show that's currently on from, I think, 1 to 3 Eastern with Michelle Beadle.
And she didn't even know about it.
And she was
Cody
quoted as
Decker
saying that she doesn't respect him today. So Stephen A. Smith, if you wanted more from Stephen A., because it's hard to get his opinion on certain topics, if you were looking for more, you can get it on Sirius XM.
Oh, I was looking for a place to hear what Stephen A. Smith had to say.
And you might get it on Inside the NBA next year, even though you don't want it. But you might get it there. And I wouldn't be surprised if you did in some capacity next year.
He's just, I don't know, man.
Does he really need the 2-hour radio show? Like, you're kind of doing enough. Like,
these guys got to be making like, how much money do you think he's making?
Whatever he signed, is it richer than the McAfee deal with ESPN? Or it's a lot of money.
It's a 6-figure deal, or no, 7-figure deal. Sorry, no, 8-figure deal. My bad.
I don't know what it's obviously 10+ million per year.
Yeah,
I think it was 8. I think it's like $100 million deal.
Okay, so it's a 9-figure deal.
But now you can, again, it's like, to what end?
The Stephen A. Smith saturated like market is just
too saturated.
Too saturated. I can't take it.
Yeah.
Every time I see Stephen A. Smith, my eyes can't roll farther in the back of my head.
Real quick before we get to the wrap on the other side, I mean, Kevin kind of gave credence to the quote from Manny. It came from Manny. You know, he didn't say like, I mean, he said that when Preller would talk to Manny about that, he could see him, half joking, obviously. That Preller wasn't going to Manny like, oh, seriously, like,
Hey,
we need to talk to Jumbotron guy because I
you-
see what he's doing.
You
to
need to shorten up your swing a little bit.
Yeah, like I've been watching you on film, and here's what's happening with the
What
champ, man.
general manager is like, hey, bro, I got some tips for you.
You know what, GM?
This GM.
This GM has tips.
Well, there's other, like, I think Buster Posey is a GM for the president of baseball operations now for the Giants. But guess what?
He's also like Hall of Fame caliber player.
Right. So it's a little different there.
Right.
But you got AJ Preller, some rando that plays basketball at the YMCA on Sunday afternoons against like some bunch of rando people, giving Manny Machado tips how to hit.
Right. By the way, same Padres starting lineup, I want to say. It's Nick Pivetta on the mound. It's Tatis, Arise, Machado, Merrill, Sheets, Bogey, Crony, who was the hero last night. We haven't touched on that. Lockridge in left. Was Lockridge in left yesterday, Jim?
He was.
And then Diaz is behind home plate.
Wow, look at that lineup.
Wow.
Yeah.
That lineup's amazing.
We're going to get Mike Schilt to comment on it. Probably at 5 p.m. We'll hear from Mike Schilt here.
Can't wait.
On John and Jim. We'll get to the wrap on the other side. If you missed Kevin, you'll hear it again later in the show. And again, be listening for that goal call from Adrian Garcia Marquez. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win 2 free tickets to see San Diego FC this weekend against Club America at Snapdragon Stadium this Saturday. On the other side, we'll get to the wrap to kick off hour 3 of John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples. Padres and Giants, game 3 of their 4-game series tonight up in the Bay Area. 6:45 first pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres. And tonight at 6 p.m., SDFC Midweek Live. 1 full hour of SDFC talk with Darren Smith and Adrian Garcia Marquez right here on San Diego Sports 760. How many times have we all said that was easy? Well, the Staples Easy button is back, and it's got everyone saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos, plus quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples. That was easy.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of John and Jim. Be listening for the goal SDFC call, right? You hear SDFC on San Diego Sports 760 each and every match. Adrian Garcia Marquez, Darren Smith. Darren was in studio while you were gone. I told you that the other day.
I heard and I saw.
Asked Darren to replace you. He said no. Smartly.
I don't blame him. Yeah, very smart on his part.
When you hear the goal call 877-767-4760 because we're qualifying a listener this hour. We're qualifying a listener next hour. We'll announce the winner of those 2 free tickets for Saturday. Club America SDFC Saturday at 7. We're giving away 2 free tickets. Be listening when you hear the goal call. Call 877-767-4760 for a chance to win those tickets for Saturday night.
And it's not just today we're giving away tickets. We're giving away tickets tomorrow, and we're giving away tickets on Friday as well. So if you want to go Saturday night to the game, that will not be televised, by the way. The only way you could, hear or watch this match is either at Snapdragon Stadium or right here on San Diego Sports 760. And we have a pair of tickets for you.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Great giveaway here today and through the course of the week. And then again, hear the match live right here on San Diego Sports 760 on Saturday night. All right, we will get to the wrap. If you missed our conversation with Jared Weiss, he's a national NBA writer for The Athletic. We are, 24, 25 hours out from the NBA Finals. If you missed Jared yesterday, you'll hear that coming up at 4:30. We have other great giveaways, including this hour. We've got a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair that we're going to give away. So a lot to get to over the next 2 hours. But right now, let's get to this.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Who wins the Stanley Cup final between the Panthers and the Oilers?
I was fully ready for you, Brent, to just go, who wins the Stanley Cup final? Because I was like, I don't know who's in it. I could have guessed the Florida Panthers because they've been like in the Stanley Cup final for how many years in a row? I mean, they're one of the best hockey teams.
My mic is off. But
there you go. They're one of the best hockey teams in the sport.
That's how you get to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. I'll just go with I'll go with Edmonton.
You're going with the Oilers?
Going with the Oilers, baby.
I was going to take the Oilers because the last we always do this. The last Canadian Stanley Cup winner was in Montreal in 1994. Last Canadian Stanley Cup winner was Montreal, maybe in 1993.
It's been a while.
It was Montreal in 1993. How is that possible? How are 7 of your teams, maybe 8? I haven't counted recently. How are 7 of your teams in one country? They love it.
Oh,
and
hockey is everything
in Canada. None of the 7 have won for 32 years. That would be like if you took 7 teams out of the National League. That's a lot.
Or the NFL or the NBA.
Yeah. But like just 7 of the teams that said they haven't won in 30 years. That seems like what are the odds of that? That seems incredible that it's happened like that.
Well, I'll go Edmonton. You go Edmonton?
I'm going Edmonton.
All right, let's go. Come on, Oilers.
I might get to game 3.
I might get to game 1.
Do you know what country Edmonton is in?
Canada?
Correct.
What?
Do you know a province? Because I don't.
I don't. I had no clue.
Do you think it's middle, left, or right?
Ooh.
Like if you look at Canada and it's above the US, do you think it's like left would be Pacific, like over San Diego? Middle would be like middle.
I'm going middle.
And right would be like east.
I'm going middle.
I'm going left.
Do you think you need to know French to go there?
No.
No, it's not French. It's kind of middle.
It's a French part of Canada though, so they speak French there.
Do they in Alberta?
Yeah, in Edmonton, yes.
I didn't know that. They do that in Quebec. It's in Alberta, which is kind of middle. Jim, you're a genius.
It's kind of
middle.
A little more left, middle, left, middle.
It's over Montana.
Okay.
Yeah. It's far north, man. Their winters not hot.
Yeah, I'm not going there for a vacation.
Are you and Aaron next second anniversary Edmonton?
That's not on the list, John.
Next question.
How much credit should Jumbotron guy get if Manny finishes in top 5 MVP voting?
Well, he only gets credit if he doesn't put his name on the scoreboard.
Right.
Like, he's going to have to stop putting his name on the scoreboard to get some credit here.
He might have to take some blame.
Right. If Manny's up at the plate with the runner at second and 2 outs, tie game, bottom of the 9th inning against the Dodgers next week, and he strikes out, but and Jumbotron guy put the Manny, name on the scoreboard, then it's Jumbotron guy's fault. But if he doesn't, then we can't blame Jumbotron.
I just love the quote. I really,
it's amazing quote.
That AJ's talking to Manny.
AJ's like, bro, shorten up the swing, hit the gap.
The whole story to me is
he's like,
fun.
Hey AJ, go get us some players. Stop talking to me about how to hit a baseball, bro.
Right. I love it.
Go play some basketball somewhere.
I'm sure he is.
I know.
I'm sure he is. I just think the story is kind of fascinating and fun, truthfully. Next question.
Are you guys looking forward to a Team USA versus the World format next year's NBA All-Star Game?
And they are trying everything with the NBA All-Star Game because these NBA players don't give a crap and they're not going to play hard. And so because of that, they have to do all these crazy, weird, wonky things. My question is, are they going to have enough legit All-Stars to make a Team USA versus a Team World team?
Dude, the world team is like stacked. I like it. Last year's format was like, hey, we have 3 teams. You lost me at 3 teams. Okay.
And one of those teams was like a rising star team that should not have been there.
So this is better than that. Now I'm with you. I have a really good idea. There's a conference called the Eastern. There's a conference called the Western.
Oh,
if you took the best players from what they're calling conferences and paired them against each other, I'd watch. By the way, they're also moving the game to the afternoon. At the Intuit Dome, it'll be in the afternoon, not the evening next year. But the world team is like stacked. Have you seen the world?
I've seen the world, John.
The world has all these NBA players.
Jokic, Giannis, Luka.
It's a good team.
But here's my point, though.
Okay.
So let's just say hypothetically there's 20 All-Stars. 10 on each team.
10 on each team, just hypothetically? Sure.
20 All-Stars total for an All-Star game. That's probably it, right? 20 All-Stars.
I think they go with more than that because there's more teams.
All right, just go with 24.
Yeah, okay.
24.
Sure.
All right, so 12 on each team.
Sure.
All right. What if there's only 7 international players that become All-Stars?
Worthy, you're saying?
Yeah, that are worthy to be All-Stars next year. Or what if there's only 7 American-born players that are worthy of being All-Stars next year? Then you got a problem.
Right, you're saying that, there could be like an unfair split. You're putting someone on the world team that didn't earn it because you have to fill out the world roster, and you're taking someone off the U.S. team that did earn it, but you can't have him. You can't move him over to the world team.
Exactly. So
I get your point.
That's going to be something that you have to look at because the whole point of an All-Star game is to have All-Stars out there, not, hey, we're going to have a Team USA versus the Team World, but on All-Star weekend, but 4 of these guys out there aren't All-Stars. One of them's averaging like 7 points per game.
Yeah, it'd be like baseball when it's like, oh, we have to have a Marlin go. So somebody that's deserving, you stay home because we have to send Jesus Luzardo.
Jokic, I'm looking at like Jokic, Wemby. Like they're going to fill out that team nicely.
What if a couple guys are hurt? What if Giannis gets hurt? What if Jokic gets hurt? What if SGA gets hurt? What if Wemby gets hurt?
Well, then you're going to have Ben Simmons. Is he an international player?
No. Only 23% of the players in the league are from outside
Ben
the
Simmons
US.
was born in Australia, by the way.
Okay, great. If Ben Simmons is in the All-Star game next year, then the whole thing's a joke.
So why not just East versus West?
Because they're trying
done it.
to do something new because they can't get the players to play hard. They've tried everything.
Are you going
these
to play
guys
hard
just
because
don't care
because you're not from the U.S. against U.S. players?
Well,
maybe
they saw what hockey did.
Oh, that was super successful this past year.
Yeah, and they're trying to do that. But here's the thing: hockey players give a crap about playing hard, and they're not. And you can't just go
And
out
they
there.
were playing for their country. It wasn't the world. It was like Team Canada,
right?
You know.
And they got in a fist fight 10 seconds into the match.
That's right.
So unless LeBron's gonna like punch Jokic at the opening tip,
love to see
not
it.
gonna happen.
Yeah, they should fight.
Next question.
Is it a little too early to be scoreboard watching?
On June 4th, yeah. I really have not paid close attention to what the Dodgers have done or the D-backs or, I didn't even realize that I just saw on the ticker that the Brewers are 9-1 in their last 10 games.
They've been scorching hot.
By the way, the Padres go to Milwaukee this weekend.
And they've been really good at home, Milwaukee. I've recently looked it up.
And so it is too early to like really scoreboard watch. You can keep track of what's happening, but to every single night from here on out be like deeply invested in what the Dodgers are doing, and then if they lose, you're like, Padres are only a game back. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Padres continue to play like this. I don't have to look at other teams' records to know that the Padres are in the mix.
Can I give you a dumb
do it
all-star game idea? Because my mind is still on it.
Okay, sure.
Okay, just hear me out before you say it's the worst idea since my sports theme park, which is an amazing idea.
It's not an amazing idea.
Where, yes, you theme the rides around the teams. If the NBA opened a theme park next to SeaWorld called NBA World and had 30 rides for the 30 teams, that would be incredible. And I'm going opening night.
Okay.
You'd
probably be the only one there.
Grizzly ride where like you're just getting mauled.
You're getting killed by grizzlies. There's a grizzly bear
The
there.
pacer ride, you're just on a treadmill walking.
You just go into a room. They're like, all right, there's a grizzly bear in here. You have to escape the room without dying.
Survive.
But survive the grizzly.
This is my best idea since that. Okay. Hear me out. The All-Star Game 2026. The NBA champion, as it is constructed now. I don't care if there's movement. The NBA champion, as it's constructed the night they win the NBA championship against the All-Star team that isn't on the NBA championship team.
That would never happen.
The NBA champion, as constructed now, against the All-Stars.
No.
How badly would the NBA champion lose in that hypothetical if the teams were playing hard?
If they're playing hard, that's all that matters.
Hard.
That's all that matters. Because if they're playing hard, that'd be fun to watch.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's the whole problem. Like literally, that is the crux of the issue with the NBA All-Star Game weekend. These guys don't play hard. And so every problem that they have and they're trying to solve is how do we get these guys to play hard?
Winner gets $1 billion.
Well, then I think they'd play pretty hard.
$1 billion.
$1 billion.
Imagine that. Everyone's getting like $100 million for a night.
They tried bribing them already.
I
though,
know, they don't care. You're right. They get money.
Or they could fine them. Like, if you guys don't play hard, we're fining you
$1 billion.
$100,000.
That's not going to work. You can't threaten them to play hard, I don't think.
No, they've already tried that. That's the whole thing is just.
Or have them play flag football.
Well, it's up to. Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He's so good.
No, it wouldn't.
I mean, they'd be good. I mean, at flag football, I feel like a lot of athletes.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, we're going to hear from Adam Silver on my idea. He'll join us next. No, I'm kidding. We're going to hear from Adam Silver on these markets, the small markets representing the two teams in the NBA Finals, plus much more on the finals with Jared Weiss from The Athletic. Coming up at 4:30 and later this hour, your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. This is John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, so maxed out on credit cards or struggling with high interest debt, you could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey guys, it is Schaefer. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is truly amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. Huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Call now to start the conversation. Here's the number, 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. That's 619-207-4336. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. All right, our iHeartRadio Music Festival gym is back, and you can win your way in before you can buy them. Live performances by Bryan Adams, Ed Sheeran, John Fogerty, Mariah Carey, Maroon 5, The Offspring, and more. September 19th and 20th, T-Mobile in Vegas, 2 nights, 1 stage. Listen to win tickets before you can buy them, 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 5 p.m., including airfare and hotel accommodations in Vegas, plus $1,000. And our exclusive Capital One card holder presale starts Wednesday, June 11th at 10 a.m.
All right, we'll talk to you all tomorrow. Show's over.
Because we're going to go get your tickets?
No, I'm just making fun of you because the read was long.
It is a long read. Would you like to go to the iHeartRadio Music Festival with me? We can broadcast outside.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
Talk to Mary.
I'll get on it. I'll put it on my list.
Yeah, because you talk to Mary every day.
Yeah.
It's part of the gig.
Part of the show.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to list all of the performers. You can just like pick a couple of them.
Brent, you were running out of the studio. I didn't mention Sammy Hagar because I don't know how to say it. I think I said
Sammy
it right.
Hagar.
I didn't say that. And I didn't say Tim McGraw.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So what do you want me to just say? Be like, hey, live performances by Bryan Adams. Like, I gotta give you a potpourri of musicians. You know what potpourri means? Like
a lot.
Yeah, I think. I don't even know what it means.
A multitude.
A multitude. That's hilarious, dude. All right, what is Adam Silver saying here?
So he was on, I don't even know what this show is like on FS1.
Or something?
It's another dumb created show, whatever. But he was talking about the narrative of, well, small market NBA finals, the ratings will be down. No one's going to watch because who wants to watch Indiana versus OKC. They want the bigger markets. And he then tries to compare like a Super Bowl with small markets to the NBA Finals with small markets.
Yeah, interesting.
Here's what he said.
That's one thing I really admire about the NFL. I mean, if we were going into a Super Bowl and it was Packers against Steelers, you guys would be celebrating that. Those would be storied franchises. People wouldn't be talking about, the fact that Pittsburgh is a small market. So in fact, I'm happy whatever team ends up in the finals, but it's been intentional from our standpoint to create a system, a collective bargaining agreement that allows more teams to compete. And just by way of background, we're going to have to go through a process of getting to the point where people are accustomed to tuning into the finals because it's the two teams that deserve to be there and it's the best basketball. Similar to, again, with the Super Bowl, if I asked somebody if they were going to watch the Super Bowl, they wouldn't say who's playing. It's a national holiday. And now that's nirvana.
That's
I'm not saying we're anywhere close to that yet. There's still, if the Knicks are in the finals, there's a segment of our fan base that's going to watch that may not watch if it's other teams. But my job is to get people to love and follow this game. And so that if you're a huge basketball fan, you should want to tune into the finals because that's the best basketball.
I'm actually really surprised he said that. Way off base, in my opinion. Way off base. You can't comp Super Bowl to anything.
No.
And that includes the NBA Finals, which will be widely watched. But you're not touching the Super Bowl with all 7 of your games. You're not getting anywhere close to it. And by the way, you could have the Lakers against the Celtics. You can't compare Lakers Celtics to the Super Bowl. You can't. I'm sorry. So, no, you're missing the mark there. I would just celebrate these franchises, put them on display, and say they speak for themselves, regardless of what city they play in. I think Thunder Pacers has a chance to be a good series, but this isn't about getting the NBA to a point where one day it's appointment watching like the Super Bowl. It's a best of 7 series. You're never going to ever do that.
The NBA is a star-driven league.
Yep.
It always has been, always will be. Big brands matter in the NBA more so than, NFL.
Absolutely.
NFL, it doesn't matter who's in the Super Bowl. You're right. It's a national, holiday. Regardless, you're going to get 100 million plus viewers watching the Super Bowl. It could be Jacksonville versus
Carolina, Jacksonville.
Yeah,
probably. It's still going to run circles around any other event.
Yeah, it might not be the most watched ever, but it will still get 100 million.
Yep.
The biggest game of the year.
Yeah,
most watched game of the year.
Of course.
And so the NBA, this is their opportunity to see how they are going to use this finals to try to prop up guys like SGA and Tyrese Halliburton. SGA, he's a star. He's not a superstar yet, but he's a star. He's the MVP. It's going to go down as one of the best seasons in NBA history.
It's been a great year. Mm-hmm.
But he's not a household name, not even close. So it's up to the NBA to make him one. And that's been the issue here is without LeBron, without Steph, how are they going to have the NBA? What's the NBA going to look like after those guys leave? And what's the NBA going to look like when you have teams like OKC and Indiana in the finals, 2 markets that are, small markets. And you already know right now, this is going to be the lowest rated. I can already see it. Game 1, lowest rated finals game 1 since X.
Well, since the pandemic would be my guess because they moved the timing of it.
Take the pandemic out.
No, I agree with you. Just entertain me for a second. So last year's Super Bowl, the average number was 127.7 million. Mm-hmm. The most watched NBA Finals game last year, Boston-Dallas, not just a 5-game series, but include the Celtics.
I guess.
Yeah.
11 million?
12.
Okay.
You add up all 5 of the games, 12, 10, 11, I'm just doing it right now, 22, 33, 43, 45, 55, 65.
Yeah, so
the one game had 127.
Yeah, you have Boston and Dallas, Luka, and a huge market getting 12 million. This NBA Finals is going to get under
10. Yeah, and that I do think it's a shame. You and I are I'm very much into it. Kristen grew up a Pacers fan. I've been watching the postseason. I really like Tyrese Halliburton. I personally, Shea has definitely grown on me too. I like the Thunder. I like their team. I think they're a really good team. I'm excited for the finals, but I get it. You're not going to get the Super Bowl brings all casuals, every casual in the world.
Oh, everybody's
watching the Super Bowl. The NBA Finals, it's hard to get casual fans. You better have Lakers Celtics.
The only way you get casual fans if you truly have Steph, LeBron, KD,
exactly.
people might not like it, but guess what? When Steph and KD, were teammates, and then they played LeBron and Kyrie, the massive NBA Finals.
But even that, so give me a classic year. The 7-game series they lost, 2016. Seriously, those games, $20 million for game 1. Again, the Super Bowl did 127. Game 7 of that series, which of course is going to be a monster, was 30. That's amazing.
Yeah,
30.
But if
less than a quarter of the Super
Bowl. But if you're getting a game 7 in this series, you're not even touching 30. You're not even touching 20.
Maybe
probably not touching 15.
Yeah, it's like you're right.
It's like 12, maybe 13.
You're right. So
and the bar is set so high with LeBron and Steph. And,
it is,
and the superstar players in this league that. It is not right now. It's not fair to be like, hey, SGA and Tyrese Halliburton,
go be LeBron.
Exactly, because they're not even close to that. Or go be Steph. You're not even close to that.
And it's not even their fault.
No,
it's not that they're not good players. It's just,
the NBA
really
good. They're great players,
and they haven't been profiled like that. They haven't been put on a pedestal and shown on national TV for years on end. All right, we're gonna hear from Jared Weiss on the other side. He covers the NBA for The Athletic. He's getting us ready for tomorrow night. That's game 1 of the NBA Finals. Plus, we'll get back to the Padres in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll hear from Mike Schilt, his pregame comments to the media before game 3 of this Padres-Giants series coming up later tonight. Plus, this hour, your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. And you're listening for that goal call. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win San Diego FC tickets for Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. Jared Weiss from The Athletic next, John and Jim.
Chucky Lozano went chuk chuk boom.
This update's brought to you by Macy's Backstage. Padres Giants game 3 of their 4-game series tonight up in the Bay. 6:45 first pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres, and then tonight 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760 SDFC Midweek Live with Darren Smith and Adrian Garcia Marquez. 1 full hour of SDFC talk. What will you find at Macy's Backstage? How about essential warm weather styles, just $30 and under, like dresses, shoes, and bags, men's and even kids looks. Find the latest trends, new arrivals, and great prices at a Macy's Backstage store near you.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Remind me to share a text with you coming up before Trainwreck Radio. We'll give away a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair later this hour. But if you missed our conversation with Jared Weiss from The Athletic, he covers the NBA, a really good one. Of course, the finals will get underway tomorrow night in about 24 hours. We started this conversation asking him about Oklahoma City. If they win it, will they be seen as historically good? Indiana, if they win it, will it be seen as a historic upset? Take a listen.
If the Pacers win, that would be one of the most shocking upsets we've seen in a while. The thing is, as great as OKC has been, they don't have like the legacy of it. And that's such a huge part of these all-time great teams usually is they have a generational superstar that has come up short several times and has been knocking on the door, and he finally breaks it down. Somebody who we think is in the GOAT conversation, things of that nature. And OKC is, based on an individual season, they've been about as good as it gets. Like historically, it's been amazing. They just don't quite have that gravitas of an all-time team usually does from a narrative perspective. And so in the moment, it's hard to see it, but I'm sure when we look back on it and Shea's hoisting his 4th finals MVP, we'll be like, oh yeah, that was obvious, wasn't it? And so therefore, if the Pacers were to win the series, it would be one of the great upsets in recent memory. And the irony of the Pacers is that they are similar to the Thunder in so many ways, and they're almost like a B+ version of the Thunder in some ways. I think the big difference is Indiana has this really beautiful, unique offense, and OKC can do a lot of what they do, but their defense is just like unbelievable. And it's one of the best perimeter defenses we've seen, at least in my time around the league. And Indiana's defense has been decent, but it doesn't compare to what Oklahoma is able to do.
So what, I guess the question is, like, what does Indiana have to do to even have a shot in this series, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, what's nice about them is that their defense isn't great, but their offense plays in transition in a way that few teams ever quite have pulled off. And so they're so good at running off of made baskets. And that's kind of what makes them so good, is that they'll give up a basket and then there's a touchdown to Pascal Siakam 0.2 seconds later. And so they can just try to run with OKC, and they can accept that they're probably not going to be able to stop OKC that well. And the key then is going to be not fouling Shea, not fouling, because when there's a foul, there's no transition. So if you're giving up a made basket, so be it. That's fine. They can run off of it. They just got to be really, really sure they're not committing shooting fouls, because that's almost like a turnover for them.
No doubt about it. Jared Weiss covers the NBA for The Athletic. He's with us right now on John and Jim. What do you make of the clutch gene that Tyrese Halliburton has had this postseason?
That's been kind of the big surprise from Indiana, because people that know Tyrese's game well, they know that he's got a high dribble. He doesn't have like real break down moves in the same way that somebody like Shea does. He doesn't have a signature shot necessarily. And so those are usually the components you're looking for to describe somebody who's a clutch shot maker. That's why, like Jalen Brunson, we know pretty well his package. We know his ability to break guys down off the dribble. It's why he was clutch player of the year. Last year was De'Aaron Fox, very similar thing. Ali, just like, the shots he's been hitting in crunch time, they're crazy shots. Like, they're not even really his shots. He's been hitting insane shots. And that's what made him so special. And so not the first time he's hit game winners in his career, but the way he's done it in this playoff run, like that one where he ran backwards and he buried that 3, like he's just done some stuff that's just like unbelievable. And so it's been revelatory, but it's been consistent enough that I think we're going to see it continue in the finals.
It just feels like, this is going to be another series where Shea ends up winning, the MVP, like he won the Western Conference Finals MVP. If the Thunder do win the NBA Finals, it's hard to envision the Thunder winning the NBA Finals and Shea not being the MVP. But when you look at his year, I mean, you got scoring title, MVP, first team All-NBA, Western Conference Final MVP. If they win the finals and he's the Finals MVP, I mean, this is an historic season from just Shea alone. Where would you put like this season, or how would you describe this season if he pulls this off and they win the finals and he wins the Finals MVP?
Well, his season encapsulates the Thunder themselves. They're perfect. Like the Thunder are a perfect team. And our idea of versatility, flexibility, skill, capability, they do everything. They do everything in a way that's really unique. And that's what his season has been. He has checked off every single box. And if you watch his game, he checks off every single box. He is as perfectly well-rounded a player as you can be in the NBA. And so I think what we'll remember this season for long-term is that this was a team of balance. And, Boston was like this last year. We're seeing this new era of parity where the teams that are great are the teams that just do everything at a very high level, and they don't have major weaknesses. And that's Shea's game. That's the Thunder team. And this could be the wave of the future, is getting away from these kind of monolithic juggernauts that rely on a superstar too, and more teams that just fit a superstar into a holistic package.
Jared Weiss covers the NBA for The Athletic with us right now on John and Jim. Who's the right hire for the Knicks after they make a move? Tom Thibodeau is out. What do you think is next for the Knicks?
That's a tough one because I get it. Like they want to make a change. In the NBA, coaches get fired because you can fire a coach at any time. You can't just trade a player or cut a player whenever you want. So the coach takes the brunt of it. I wouldn't blame him for their defensive issues as much as that. They got Jalen Brunson and Karl Towns out there, and they're both below average defenders. So that's what's going to happen. So at this point, you got two ways you can go. You can go with a tactician defensive guy that you think is going to somehow come up with a defense that works with these guys. And of course, they just got rid of Tibbs, who's the defense guy, right? Or you go for like a Indiana style high octane offense to get Jalen Brunson on the move more, get him off the ball more. You really lean into Towns' ability to shoot and penetrate from the perimeter. And you go for one of these new age, let's do some sort of revolutionary offense kind of thing. And so, right now, because they're late in the game on the coaching search, there's not a lot of candidates that make perfect sense for them. And that's the thing that I think is pretty hard to find is like, I'm not seeing a candidate out there that makes perfect sense for the Knicks. Johnny Bryant's a name I've heard thrown around. I also saw Stephen A. Smith was was in the odds for one of the lists there. So, honestly, maybe they should just give him a shot. Just have him yell at the team for 2 hours a day. Who knows?
Honestly, please, so we don't have to listen to him. So we don't have to watch him on Inside the NBA.
Actually, that would be amazing to watch. Were you surprised? Were you surprised by the firing of Tibbs today?
I wasn't surprised because, I think a lot of us that were around that Knicks series knew that it was going to be coming if they didn't finish the season on a real high note. And that Pacers series was just not a high note. It was disappointing for them. The thing for them is maybe they're looking at this firing as they're seeing what Kenny Atkinson did in Cleveland this year. And I know obviously they lost in the second round. They were really hurt. I think they probably would have been as good as expected if Garland and Mobley weren't banged up. But Atkinson took the same roster and he completely transformed it overnight with a very different approach offensively. And I think that the Knicks are probably trying to do something similar where they want to bring in a coach with a completely different approach and see if that's able to provide the spark for this team, especially considering the team got Towns right before the season started. It's really hard to integrate a central character to your system right before training camp starts, considering your team, your coaching staff spends the offseason planning for the team that they have, and then you completely change it. That's a hard adjustment to make.
No doubt about it. Jared, we appreciate you taking time for us. Enjoy the NBA Finals, which get underway in Oklahoma City on Thursday night. Pacers and Thunder to kick off the 2025 Finals in Oklahoma. Appreciate you taking time for us in San Diego. Thanks for doing it, Jared.
Thanks, fellas. Take care.
All right, good conversation. And again, tomorrow night, game 1, Pacers and Thunder. Call right now if you want a free 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. Great prize for our trivia contest today. We call it Trainwreck Radio. All you need to do is call 877-767-4760 right now for a chance to win a free 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair, which gets underway June 11th. In Del Mar. Call right now if you want those tickets. First 2 callers will be contestants for trivia. 877-767-4760. That's next, plus a text I want to get to. Plus, we'll hear from Mike Schilt as the Padres get ready for the Giants. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, we'll get to Trainwreck Radio in a moment. We'll hear from Mike Schilt coming up at 5 p.m. You'll hear from Kevin Acee at 5:30. It's John and Jim. Your last segment was really good. Now we had
my best segment of the day.
We did an interview with Jared Weiss. The conversation occurred yesterday, which means Jim went the entirety of the segment without speaking. And he spoke yesterday,
right?
So like the hay was in the barn. You did the work.
The magic of radio. It sounded like I was speaking during that segment, but
you really weren't.
I really wasn't.
I want to read this text 70470. Start it with team, and then we'll get to trivia. Trainwreck Radio 631. I'm reading it because they agree with me. John, I actually think your idea of that NBA All-Star game is pretty good, but listen to this. He has an idea that I like more than my idea.
Okay.
I would also consider doing players under 30 against players over 30. So like Shea Luka versus LeBron Steph type game. I think that's a good idea. Because it's a way to introduce younger players, old guard, new guard.
Why don't you do, because they just got off the Olympics, why don't you do the Olympic team versus NBA All-Stars? So
why not Cooper Flag against the world?
So you just have the NBA, you have the Team USA.
Or the Olympics was 2 years ago. So what are you going to do?
Olympics?
The Olympics was 2 years ago.
I know, it was last year.
By the time you get to 2026.
I don't know, dude.
I'd like East West.
Just do
Honestly,
East West.
Like
It's not hard.
They'll never do this, but they should just have whoever's the head of the players union right now just go in at the beginning of the year and just go, look, guys, is there anything they can do that's going to make you guys try All-Star Weekend anymore? And if they just flat out be like, no, then just get rid of it. Because if we're going to go down the path of, the NFL and playing flag football and dodgeball, then just get rid of it.
Here's the thing. Last All-Star game.
Nobody watched that.
Nobody watched it. It was dumb.
Right.
But
money.
It's just the player that basically told you everything you need to know about the All-Star game weekend was LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
He never told you that he wasn't playing. He showed up day of, said he's not playing during the press conference.
I remember that.
That he took a spot away from somebody that could have been an All-Star and put it on their resume. And he didn't. I don't even know if he showed up to the game. He might have, but anyway, that's kind of all you need to know about where All-Star Weekend is when your one of the faces of your league is saying, yeah, I don't want to do this. And that falls on LeBron and it falls on the players. There's not much Adam Silver could do after that.
What about a game that involves the worst players in the NBA?
Yes.
The guys with the lowest minutes per game, points per game, take those 24 guys, put them on national TV so people can get to see them because they're pretty good too.
And the MVP of that game gets a guaranteed roster spot.
We already have the play-in tournament.
Good point. All right, we'll hear from Mike Schill coming up at 5 p.m. You'll hear from Kevin Acey at 5:30, but right now let's get to this.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, and 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Santo and we have Jared. Santo, you called in first, so you have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with today?
I'll take Jim.
Santo and Jim.
Jared, you get John, okay?
Oh, man, what the hell?
What? That's hilarious.
All right, Brent, what is the question of the day?
I'll have to mark that. We've never gotten that reaction for John before.
That's great.
No.
All right, guys, as we mentioned a little bit earlier today, the Stanley Cup final gets underway tonight. Can you name the 7 different NHL teams that have won the Stanley Cup since 2016? So there have been 7 franchises that have won the Stanley Cup since 2016. Name any of those 7.
Wow.
All right. Jared, you're up first. What's your first guess? You have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Damn, I don't. Okay, are the Penguins one? The Pittsburgh Penguins?
Pittsburgh Penguins. Wow. Well done. I didn't know that either.
That's kind of crazy. Santo, you're up. What is your first guess? Do you have a lifeline if you want to use it?
Florida.
Florida
has one.
Florida has one, yes. Florida Panthers.
Good job.
Jared, back to you. What's your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Okay, I barely know, but the Avalanche? Colorado Avalanche?
Colorado
Avalanche.
Well done.
All right. Santo, back to you. What is your second guess? Do you have a lifeline if you want to use it?
Nashville.
Have they ever won a Stanley Cup?
The Predators.
No, I don't recall them ever winning one.
They might have made one, but I don't know if they've won one.
The Preds.
Jared, you could walk off with the correct answer here. Final guess. You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Okay. Let's do a lifeline.
That's me.
That's you.
I know one. Because the other team in Florida was dominant for a while. The Tampa Bay Lightning.
Do you take that, Jared?
Yes, I do.
Boom.
Darn it.
Did they win 2, Brent, the Lightning in there?
I think they did.
Yeah, back to back.
Dude, Tampa
Same with Pittsburgh
and Miami basically have dominated hockey over the last decade.
The epicenter of the
Hockey universe.
world.
In like Central and South Florida.
Makes sense, right?
Oh, it makes complete sense.
Hockey in Florida is just huge.
It's huge. It's so massive down there. So big right now.
It really is.
By the way, I have a pet peeve of something you just said. You said, have you always done this? You said Jared could walk it off here, but that was the top of the 3rd inning. I think a walk-off is if you're 2-2 into the bottom of the 3rd guess. Brent, do you agree or disagree with that?
Are we serious right now?
I'm just, yeah, I am.
Are you pulling out pet peeves on Trainwreck Radio?
I am. But you see my point?
But it ends it.
But it ends it.
Yeah, you're right. I guess no. Okay, I'm glad you said that because like the Padres in San Francisco, you can't walk off top 9.
I get it. You can't walk it off if you already had the lead.
But you're right. It is like sudden death. Or it's like you end it.
You could end it right here.
Then it makes sense. That's why I asked. It's no longer a pet peeve. I buy it.
Okay, cool.
I'm completely cool with it, by the way. All right. Who else was on this list? Stanley Cup champion since what, 2016?
All right. So the Panthers won last year. Then Vegas. Remember they won their first year.
Yeah,
then the Avalanche, Tampa Bay, St. Louis, Washington, and then Pittsburgh back to back.
Washington.
Yes, the Capitals.
I was thinking, I'm like, I don't remember the Wizards win.
No.
All right.
The
Bullets.
Commanders.
The Bullets.
Yeah. Okay. The Bullets. All right. Congratulations, Jared. You've won a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair at Del Mar. This is June 11th through July 6th. Biggest bash of the summer right here in San Diego and the best deal in town. You're going to celebrate with thrilling rides, challenging games, mouth-watering food, incredible exhibits, top-notch entertainment. It's the Summer Pet-tacular because the theme is pets and we all love pets. The 2025 San Diego County Fair. For tickets and info, go to sdfair.com. That's sdfair.com. 619 says NBA fall stars. Bad players play for an all-star spot. There's no way to do it.
No, there's no way. Last year was kind of, I feel like the
beginning of the end.
Not the beginning of the end, but just okay, we have to stop this.
Right.
Because I remember Draymond Green, and rightfully so, he was pissed, and I totally get it. Because on All-Star Sunday, you had a bunch of like random rising star rookies that should not have been on that court for All-Star Sunday playing against All-Stars in the All-Star game.
Right.
And so that's what I'm worried about with the Team USA versus the world is that are we going to have enough players that are all-star worthy and all-star caliber to be on both Team USA and the world? Because if that's not the case and you're just going to put guys on the team because you need to fill spots, then that's stupid.
This is where the baseball all-star game actually holds up. NFL by the wayside. NBA's only gotten worse. At least with Major League Baseball, you are doing that. I mean, you are playing.
And the thing about the baseball all-star game is you can't half-ass it if you're a pitcher.
No, you can't get yourself hurt.
So you got to go out there
max
and
velocity,
you have to throw max velocity and you're throwing 99.
Yeah, there's adrenaline there. You're facing Bryce Harper.
And if you're a hitter, you can't just go up there and half-ass in the back.
Well, why would you do that? Yeah, why would you give yourself up if you're Fernando Tatis Jr.?
So the baseball all-star game will always hold up. Yeah. I agree with that. I think the tweaking of like a player from each team going needs to change.
Or like, hey, the winner is the, World Series home field. We don't necessarily need that.
Because there's this year going to be an all-star from the Colorado Rockies. They don't deserve one.
Why would you say that? They've won 3 of the last 4.
Neither do the Rockies, neither the White Sox, neither do the Marlins.
Right.
Like the best players should be out there regardless.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's the only thing that I would change with the Major League Baseball All-Star game.
Use the best players.
Because the whole, every team it's like the participation trophy. Like, give me a break.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, we'll hear from Mike Schild on the other side as the Padres get ready for the Giants. His pregame conversation with the media. You'll hear that coming up. Plus, Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, at 5:30 with much more on the Padres as they embark on this difficult stretch, but 2-0 so far to begin the 17-game stretch against a lot of the NL West. We'll kick off hour 4 of John and Jim on the other side. This is San Diego Sports 760, and we're live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update's brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Padres and Giants, game 3 of their 4-game series, 6:45 tonight in the Bay Area. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres. And tonight, 1 hour from now, is 1 full hour of SDFC Talk with SDFC Midweek Live, hosted by Darren Smith and Adrian Garcia Marquez. You can listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. Straight Talk might not be on your shopping list, but it should be. Next time you're grabbing some milk off the shelf at your local Walmart, stop by the Straight Talk aisle and switch to Real Unlimited Data. It's quick and convenient. It won't even take up room in your cart.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is the final hour of John and Jim. We will hear from Kevin Acee this hour at 5:30. We'll bring you 5 trade possible, let's call them possibilities. 5 trade possibilities for the Padres to address their left field issues. We'll do that momentarily. Also, be listening for that goal call for your chance to win SDFC tickets. When you hear Adrian Garcia Marquez, the play-by-play voice, when you hear his goal call 877-767-4760. We'll qualify one more listener. Among our 3 qualifiers, one of you will win 2 free tickets to Saturday's match against Club America. We'll announce that coming up at 5:30. We'll hear from Mike Schilt at 5:15. But earlier today, Jim, we did go through a list of 5 potential upgrades for the Padres in left field. Plus, we had a bonus outfielder as well. These are in no particular order, right?
No particular order. But here are the names.
Okay.
Jarren Duran of the Boston Red Sox. We've talked about him a lot. Of course, it was reported in The Athletic that the Padres are interested in a guy like Jarren Duran this year. John, he is hitting .273, 4 home runs, and 35 RBIs.
Again, not last year because he was awesome last year, but again, an upgrade over what the Padres have had.
Next up, guy that we've talked about as well, Luis Robert Jr.
Mm-hmm.
He's having a down year, not that great of a season. He's hitting .177 with 5 home runs and 20 RBIs.
Ugh.
Does have 21 stolen bases on the year, but that's another name that's being floated out there. Jeff Passan linked the Padres to Luis Robert Jr. The other day. A name that I brought up, or we both brought up when the Angels were here about a month and a half ago, is Taylor Ward.
Right.
He has 16 home runs on the year, 38 RBIs. His batting average isn't great at .213, but that's not the point. The point is he would be an immediate upgrade in left field. And oh, by the way, he would also lead the team in home runs right
16,
now.
Yeah.
Another name that we haven't talked about much, Cedric Mullins on the Baltimore Orioles. He's hitting .232 this year, 10 home runs, 31 RBIs. The Orioles are in a tailspin. They probably are going to move some pieces here if they don't turn this thing around here very quickly.
He's a rental.
So that's another name. And then finally, the last name on the list, Andrew McCutchen.
Mm-hmm.
We just saw him. I think hit a home run against the Padres here. 2 home runs.
Back-to-back days.
He's hitting .258 on the season, 5 home runs, 18 RBIs. Would be a cheap get. That won't cost you much. And then you had one name as well that was not on this list.
Yeah, he's not a great defender, but his year offensively has been incredible. Ryan O'Hearn, veteran with the Orioles. He's hitting .335 with a .960 OPS. He's hit 9 home runs for the Orioles. He's not a great defensive option, but who really cares if you can hit like that? He's 31. He would be a rental. So those are 6 early names the Padres could consider, and they are linked to at least a couple of those players potentially. And of course, more names will emerge between now and the actual deadline. The question is, do they wait until the deadline, or do they do something sooner rather than later? The more they win, the more I'm convinced they can put it off.
Mhm.
Winning games in San Francisco, 8-3 in their last 11, one game back in their own division, for example. Right now, if they hit another tailspin, they had the 6-game losing streak. Can they afford that again? Can they have another 6-game losing streak and not make some type of move to bolster this offense? Because listen, even with the good play, and they've played well, 8-3 in their last 11, it's not because of their offense by and large. I mean, their offensive numbers over the last month are some of the worst offensive numbers in baseball.
They really are, and it's not all from their left fielder.
It's definitely
or their catcher. It's Tatis. It's Arise. It's been Manny at times. Ben Merrill. Like, it's their big bats. Xander has done nothing, right?
Yep.
Like, it's their main guys that aren't hitting. We're not sitting here, throwing our hands in the air, screaming at the top of our lungs about, if they just had a left fielder because everyone else is doing great. No, everyone else is not doing great. Everyone else is struggling, except for, like Manny Machado right now, who's on fire again, and the team is winning. Shocker. But, putting a lineup together now with a competent left fielder, one of these names you put in the lineup, it just lengthens the lineup out. I mean, we did the exercise yesterday. If the Padres traded for Jarren Duran, would probably be the priciest of the outfielders that we just named to get back. Man, the lineup would look completely different with Jarren Duran hitting leadoff for you.
Right. Just put him at the top, move everyone down a spot, and all of a sudden you've got Gavin Sheets hitting 6th in the midst of a career year, and Jay Cronenworth, who has an 800 OPS, batting 7th or 8th for you, or Xander Bogaerts batting 7th or 8th for you.
Yeah,
and that does change the lineup.
Or Cedric Mullins, you put him in somewhere in the lineup. Taylor Ward, put him somewhere in the lineup. It looks completely different. Just one of these bats makes the lineup look completely different. Luis Robert Jr., still skeptical if they did end up trading for him because they'd have to figure out the money issue, right? And acquiring him wouldn't be like the cheapest thing in the world. It wouldn't cost you a lot, but again, you're gonna have to give up a prospect or two for him. And the guy's just doing nothing really this year. He's out of the White Sox lineup again tonight for unknown reasons.
Maybe because he's just struggled.
Yeah, when you hit 177 on the year with a 560 OPS
over 60 games,
I mean, it's Martin Maldonado status.
Yeah, with wheels.
So if you get Luis Robert Jr., that's a risk in my opinion, because the risk comes in is he has to produce. He has to hit way better than that. He's got to hit, at least 230 for you with at least a 700 OPS to make it worth it. Because if not, then it's like you're replacing you're filling the hole in left field with a player that would still be a hole.
Yeah, it's like, why would you solve a problem with a problem? Right. It's not a solution. And then, Dennis Lynn wrote about Jarren Duran yesterday, and that's why we talked about him. But then Dennis today wrote about, I would argue the rotation is a bigger issue than left field.
Okay.
Because, again, so far they've kind of weathered it, but 162 is not 60. Go look at 2020 as an example. So they haven't even played 60 games as of yet. And they've gotten away with it for 60 games. But not having Michael King, not having you, Darvish, I think go address starting pitching, even if these guys come back, because I'd be fearful of. I think the worst case scenario is not 2021. I don't think this will be 2021 all over again. But the worst case scenario is you don't get anywhere near your ceiling because you're running out of starting pitching in the regular season. Forget about the postseason. 2021, they ran out of starting pitching in season, and it was absurdly detrimental to the point where they went in a nosedive for 60 games. It was absurd. I'm not forecasting that, but you can't afford to get anywhere near that. And the Michael King, Yu Darvish thing, if it was one of them, okay. You're without Joe Musgrove all year. So Musgrove, King, Darvish is a lot on the shelf. That, to me, is probably more concerning than what's going on in left field, truthfully.
I would agree with that. As of right now, guys like Ryan Bergert, Stephen Kolek, Randy Vasquez, they are going to be in this rotation. And I think in the short period, you're going to be somewhat okay if these guys just go out and do what they've been doing. But you're right. Over the long haul, that ain't going to get it done. Unless Dylan Cease and Nick Pivetta every time out are like throwing up, shutouts. Like, they did it last year with 2 starting pitchers in smoke and mirrors after that.
Right.
but you're gonna need more. I agree. You're gonna need more, especially with the injury concerns in the rotation that you have.
Now, starting pitching to me is going to cost more than left field because it's starting pitching.
All right, you got to pick one. You can only trade for one at the deadline,
right?
And you're going to put all your resources into that one player: left field, catcher, or starting pitcher.
Starting pitcher.
I'd probably agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Starting pitcher. I just don't think I don't think they were a left fielder away during the 24 inning scoreless streak. Not a great example. They jerks and Profar, but if I could fast forward and put the Padres back in that spot, I thought they really ran into issues in Game 4 specifically because Joe Musgrove was out and they pitched Dylan Cease on short rest. Now that doesn't solve their offense.
No,
you could have pitched a perfect game. They still have to score.
And Yu Darvish pitched
very
beautifully in Game 5, and they couldn't put up even one run on the board.
That's right.
They couldn't put any pressure on the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, pitching is always going to be the number one thing that you want to have the surplus of. You want to have pitching over everything else. The more pitching, the better. But doesn't take away from the fact that you still need to score some runs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you know what? It all matters. Truthfully.
It does.
And that's why my guess is this is who Preller has always been. He doesn't address one need. He addresses a series of needs. He won't make one move in all likelihood. He'll likely make multiple moves. That doesn't mean they're going to be these cachet, massive blockbuster trades, but he is likely to add a reliever because why wouldn't you? He's likely to maybe add depth in his rotation because why wouldn't you? He's likely to add a starting caliber outfielder because he needs to. He may add depth off his bench. His bench has not been good. If you've been watching, it's one of the worst benches in baseball. Again, they've gotten away with it. They're 11 games over 500. So to me, it'll be a series of upgrades. I'm not expecting Juan Soto, neither are you. I mean, a Soto type trade from a few years ago, but I am expecting them to be very active because they understand the window that they're in. And if you truly are 15 plus games over 500 at the deadline, they should be, by the way, then you are once again all in 2025.
Yeah, the one thing I can guarantee you is if they continue to play at this level, while it might not be pretty at times, and it hasn't been pretty over the last 11 games, they've still gotten it done.
Right.
But at the deadline, like you said, they're 15 over or close to that, 12, 13 over. AJ will do everything in his power to upgrade this team, and this team will look a lot different come the second half of this year. Hell, it could look a lot different by next week. I don't know. He could make a move at any point, at any time. That's AJ Preller. There's not a timetable on when he is going to or not make any moves. He will do it whenever, wherever.
Yeah, and be careful to judge a team based on now and be like, they don't look like a World Series team. Well, the World Series hasn't played this week.
That's
you
good.
Just got to get to the postseason. The 1-0 wins, the 3-2 wins, the come from behind wins, they all count. Mm-hmm. All of this matters. Yeah, they don't look. I agree. Do they look like baseball's best team? No, of course they don't look like baseball's best team. But they look like a team that's going to have their hat in the ring, hopefully in October.
And we've seen when Preller feels good about his teams, he goes out and make moves.
Right.
It's happened every year, every single year. 2020, 2021 was different. I think he saw the writing on the wall. The tailspin was happening during
in front of our eyes.
Right, exactly. And that was the Max Scherzer year.
Yeah, he said Scherzer isn't going to fix everything.
No,
essentially.
But they tried and they got duped by the Nationals and Ken. Ken got duped and helped the Dodgers out.
Right.
So other than that 2021 disaster deadline, he has made moves every single deadline. Even in 2023, that awful year, he still made moves because he, quote unquote, he thought this team could do something, but he still made moves.
He did.
Even though they sucked, even though Rich Hill and who is it?
Still had on.
He stopped Choi or whatever his name is.
Yeah, it wasn't. G-Man.
G-Man Choi.
Yeah, I mean they still held on to Blake Snell.
Still looking for a hit. Yeah.
Yeah. So is Luis Campisano, who's on this team right now.
And he's not getting at bats against lefties. That's
correct. Yeah. Okay, we are going to hear from Mike Schilt, hopefully on the other side, as he speaks with the media at this hour ahead of Game 3. Kevin Acee at 5:30. If you missed it, his thoughts on some interesting comments from Manny Machado last night about the Jumbotron at Petco Park, plus on Fernando Tatis Jr.'s struggles. So we'll hear from Kevin at 5:30. Plus, listen for that goal call When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win 2 free SDFC tickets for Saturday against Club America. We're going to announce the winner of the qualifiers coming up at 5:30. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app.
Goal! Chucky Irving! Chucky Lozano with chuk chuk boom!
All right, well, that's the winner of those SDFC tickets at 5:30. Well, that's the winner coming up at 5:30. We've got tickets to give away all week long, tomorrow and Friday as well. Saturday night, Snapdragon Stadium, Club America, and San Diego FC. By the way, SDFC Midweek Live coming up tonight at 6 p.m. Mike Schill might just be holding court right now at the media. He was supposed to talk to him at 5.
Maybe he's just going on and on about Jumbotron guy.
Right, maybe. Or maybe he's just going on and on about Ryan Bergert last night. Or Nick Pivetta, who's pitching tonight.
Oh, love. Maybe he's like, you know, I get the privilege.
Oh, it is a privilege.
It is a privilege.
Just look at that
to
lineup.
watch this lineup.
Hey, look at the lineup.
And watch some of these guys in it every single day. And the privilege that I get to watch Nick Pivetta pitch. Oh,
or how about Crony, man? You see that single in the Saturday?
Oh,
sawed him off and still punched it through the right side.
On a serious note, that was a big hit from Crony.
Massive.
That was a massive.
2 outs, 10th inning.
Yeah.
Giants didn't come through in the bottom of the inning, and the Padres came through in the top of the inning. So we'll see if we can hear from Mike Schild here at some point this hour. Now, you just mentioned something to me from Rob Manfred about automatic balls and strikes. Is it coming to Major League Baseball or not in 2026? Because it is desperately needed, as is a new replay system. If you've been watching this Padres Giants series over the last 2 nights,
dude, the replay
that
system,
thing blow it up.
What? There was a call last night. The guy was out at first.
He was out at first.
As Manny, it was took away one of Manny's great plays, and he was out, and they called him safe.
They called him safe. There was the stolen base the other night. Clearly out, ruled safe. I mean, clear as day.
Not even close.
Clear as day. So who's doing replay? Because fix it. They've been doing it for 10 years. It's gotten awful.
It's been really bad. And I get it. It's like 2 a.m. in New York, but come on, guys.
Well, then open a LA office.
Then why? I have an idea. You know how every single NFL stadium and basketball arena have like replay booths in the stadium or the arenas? Yeah. Why not have that for baseball with umpires?
Do I trust these umpires? Maybe.
True.
I mean, are they better than MLB?
That's also
in New York?
A problem when you're like, I don't know if I trust these guys.
You know, I have a better idea. Just like
get the call right.
Have the people on Twitter vote.
No,
they would do a better job. I'm not like, was he out or safe? I bet they would do a better job with Twitter polls than they would with actually MLB replay.
Probably.
I'm not kidding. What's the latest with ABS? Automatic balls and strikes.
So MLB will propose automated balls and strikes challenge system for the 2026 Major League season.
Good. Next year.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Next season. Did you see, by the way, I have to pull this up here. I think it was Laz Diaz. Yeah, it was Laz Diaz.
Oh, yeah, the missed strike call, or he called a strike that was like 4 feet off the plate.
In Tampa a couple days ago. It was one of the worst umpire, like, scorecard games you'll ever see.
Mm-hmm.
He had a 83% strike call rate.
Like anyone would get like 70%.
3%.
How could you be that bad? He was missing one in like 6 pitches.
Angel Hernandez was the worst. Now that he's retired, Laz Diaz is the worst umpire in all of baseball.
Is that the lowest like percent ever though? Like
83%.
Has there ever been like a 65%er?
No, I don't think so.
So that's got to be among the lowest graded umpires ever for a game. 83%.
Dude,
ABS is 100%.
Here we go. So I'm trying to find it. It was just ridiculous how bad it was. Here we go. It was actually,
I'm not giving too much credit.
Gave him too much. Is 84%.
Oh, so he's better.
He's better than 83%.
Okay.
But in a 5-1 Rays win, called strike accuracy was 84%. League average is 88%.
That's awful.
Called ball accuracy was 94%.
Called strike was like 30%.
Yeah. Some of these are just ridiculous. His overall accuracy was 90%.
I'm all for ABS. All for it. I see no problem with it.
None.
I truly see no problem.
Give me ABS tonight.
No, yesterday night.
Give me it yesterday night.
Give me ABS yesterday night or last night. Yeah. Because it is desperately needed. It went well in spring training. I don't know why we need a full year, but now we've had a full year, or we will.
Like, do we have the technology or not? We have the technology, guys.
If they're doing it in Dunedin, Florida, it's a spring training game, then they can do it at Petco Park.
Right.
Is how I see it. Well, that's encouraging, honestly. I mean, listen, the flack that Manfred has caught over the decade is fair, of course, but speeding up the game has been a big positive. ABS to me is a big positive. The TV right thing has been a fiasco, local and national. Calling the World Series trophy a piece of junk or whatever, or a piece of metal, was an awful thing to say.
When will the Padres ever not have this MLB.TV deal? Like, will they? Oh, how long?
I
will
think
they,
forever.
How long will they be on this?
I think until the sun explodes.
How many times? And you'll know what I'm talking about. How many strikeouts have you watched of Jeremiah Estrada on the breaks?
The 13 in a row,
dude.
A major league record.
He struck out like 7,000 batters.
And do you need the little 45-second promo? The Cleveland Guardians have the Emmanuel Clase, and look at this team. They're brilliant. I don't need the little breakdowns of all the teams. It's Padres.tv. But give me Padres content.
I've heard Jesse's call of the triple play. Like,
how many times? Seriously,
7,000 times.
I've heard it more than that.
More?
I've heard it infinity times.
It's like every single break. I'm like,
guys, the Padres have been around for 57 years. Give me some more content.
And
by the way, I know Tony Gwynn has 3,000 hits.
Or sell some stuff.
Have you seen Tony Gwynn?
Yes.
Do you know he's got 3,000 hits? Have you seen the moment?
I've seen the moment a couple times.
Yeah, that's also been seen 7,000 times. Freshen it up. Give me the Musgrove no hitter. Give me the Cease no hitter. Give me Jay Cronenworth in the postseason of 2022. I want it all.
But that Jeremiah Estrada.
Every break.
And you'll probably see it 10 times tonight.
The Cleveland Guardians.
Nauseating.
I know. All right. If you missed Kevin AC, we'll share that conversation with you on the other side. Plus, we'll announce the winner of those 2 free tickets to see SDFC against Club America Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. Plus, Jim's back page is ahead. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update's brought to you by Staples. Padres Giants game 3 of their 4-game series up in the Bay Area tonight. 6:45 first pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres. And tonight, half hour away from SDFC Midweek Live. 1 full hour of SDFC talk with Darren Smith and Adrian Garcia Marquez right here on your home of SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. How many times will we all say it? That was easy. Well, the Staples Easy button is back, and it's got everyone saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos, plus quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples. That was easy.
All right, we're going to hear from Kevin AC momentarily, but first we do have a winner of SDFC tickets for Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium against Club America. Tickets are available at sandiegofc.com, and we will give away more tickets Thursday and Friday. But can we get a drum roll, and then we'll announce our winner?
Josh, congratulations. You are the winner.
I like the pregnant pause. Like, Josh. All right, Josh, you are going to see SDFC Club America Saturday night, 7 p.m., a match that can be heard exclusively here on San Diego Sports 760. This will not be televised. If you want to see them, go or listen on San Diego Sports 760. All right, if you missed Kevin AC, and if you missed this story, Manny Machado quoted as saying that A.J. Preller tells him that maybe he's trying to do too much at home at Petco because the crowd is chanting Manny, Manny.
It's the Jumbotron guy's fault.
The Jumbotron guy. What does Kevin AC make of that? That Manny might be trying to do too much at Petco to the point that A.J. Preller has even talked to him about it.
Well, I do think it's interesting. I think maybe you guys spend a little too much time on that, but that's okay. No, I look, Preller has these kind of conversations. I can picture AJ saying that to Manny in a joking way. And there is truth to it, like a lot of jokes. Manny it was interesting because Manny said it when Manny will always deny it. It's one of his strengths. To him, baseball's just baseball. Every day is the same. Well, I'm sorry, he's human. And other people say that, confirm what sometimes our eyes tell us, which is, of course he presses. Of course he's trying to do too much sometimes. I don't think necessarily it has anything to do with the chant. So I've seen it on the road, and that's not what they're chanting at Manny on the road.
No.
And so, to make too much of it is a danger. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm just saying, I appreciate Manny's candor, and that it was funny and all that. But I don't think at all that Manny meant yeah, man, we got to stop that chant, or man, I do try too much or whatever. But that's just a fact of every one of those guys, and especially a guy who knows how important he is. That's who he is. He's supposed to be the guy who does what he did last night. And so that he feels that sometime. And that was a perfect at bat, to just be all right, this is what I need to do. I'm going to reach down there and put that ball right there, little two-hand to forehand. And it was perfect.
Well, the one person that we definitely need to hear about this quote is from Mike Schilt. I think.
Yes. Can you please get Mike Schilt to comment on this, Kevin? I need Mike Schilt on the Jumbotron guy.
Yes, we need to know his thoughts on Jumbotron guy. That's all.
I'm sure that he thinks the Jumbotron guy does a great job. Everybody in the organization does a great job. Yeah. But, if you want to talk about just the Jumbotron guy, I really like what he does. So that's what Mike was saying.
100%. Kevin, Darvish, he threw 16 or 17 pitches the other day. What's the latest with him and his rehab here?
And then just to be clear, so Darvish says 16 or 17, right? Mm-hmm. Now, here's the great thing about the Japanese media. They chart everything. Mm-hmm. So it turns out it was 19, just to be clear.
Oh, of course.
It is amazing. Darvish, is 16 or 17, which is perfectly fine. That's close enough to 19. It wasn't like he threw 30 and he told us 16. But I think that was funny because one of them, T, who basically follows Kikuchi and Darvish around the country, she came up and said, I want you to know that it was 19. All right, good.
That's funny.
So it's just phenomenal. They just watch him so much. Anyway, all right. So maybe that was funny just to me. And so Darvish, that's a good sign, man. It is. And I'm sure you guys feel this way. Okay, what's next, right? He says he's expected to do a bullpen Friday. Now, that's not clear if that's at Petco or he's going with the team to Milwaukee. But either way, to go again Friday and to maybe a few more pitches, right? He went from 6 or 7 to 19 to 30, which is now we're more close to like a bullpen session, like a full-on bullpen session. Does he also take up the intensity a little bit, get to the low 90s, which by the way is like something that's sort of been kicked around, like, hey, if we're figuring out how to pitch at 39, which he almost is, then maybe like 97, you don't got to throw 97. So like, this is all like a work in progress. And I thought, and I think they thought yesterday was a significant step.
Kevin Acey's our Padres insider is back with us right now on John and Jim. I don't know if it matters if this is sustainable, but what do you make of the way the Padres are winning right now? There was this ridiculous stat last night from OptaStats, like first team to be shut out through 8 innings in back-to-back games, to win back-to-back games since like the 2001 Diamondbacks. We should be giving them credit, right? I mean, this offense is in a funk, but they're 8-3 in their last 11 games.
It's a great question and a great point. Like I think my line today was that it's as impressive as it is scary.
Right.
Like you're just not going to, they're in a stretch right now where they've won 7 of 9. 5 of those 7 wins have been comebacks, multi-run comebacks, 2 or 3 runs. And there was a 6 run in there. That's incredible because like, first of all, they have the 2nd or 3rd most multi-run comeback victories this season. And 5 of them have come in their last 7 victories. Like it just doesn't happen. I think they might have had 8 all last year. Or no, that was 2023. They had 8. It was like 18 last year. My point is there. Take all those numbers and go, wow, yeah, this doesn't happen. So the answer to your question is it's not sustainable. But then also I'm like with you, like you got to give them credit for this. Like this is something. I'll tell you this. Bob Melvin doesn't recognize this Padres team. Like this is not that team.
No, it definitely isn't because he wishes it was this team. Well,
the 2023 Padres just did not do what the 24 and 25 Padres have done. Like, they did what that 2 weeks was like, right? Where it's like, oh, it's 2-0 in the 6th. All right, game over. Like that was 2023, and so absolutely give this version of the Padres credit.
And they also couldn't win a game in extra innings if their life depended on it. So that was another thing there. Fernando Tatis Jr., he's still slumping. He had a good game last night, 2 walks, a huge walk there in the 9th inning. I thought he had a good game last night. What signs are you looking for, Kevin, that you're seeing or looking for that, okay, he's slowly getting out of this slump here?
I think he's going to burst out of it. But it will be because of, and he's trying to gain a little more consistency in how he approaches his at bats. Like if you watch, like it's almost like 3 different stances you've seen in some games. He started out the season with no leg kick, so he does that sometimes now. Then there's the big leg kick. Then there's the little leg kick. Like it's a sign, as if his swing and all the ground outs and the fact that he's not, getting the ball in the air very much unless it's pop up. Aren't sign enough, but it's a sign that he's trying to get his timing right. That's what it is. We can look at all these other things, but the guy is batting like whatever, 200 against fastballs since the beginning of May. It was 400 before that. Like I said, his launch angle, cratered. So the crazy thing is hitting the ball just as hard and most of the time and not chasing. So this is a different kind of Fernando slump. I got something coming out in a little bit. Just having talked to him about, kind of the whole deal and other people too. But I put Fernando in there about, trying to keep his attitude up. Like that's a big deal for this team. I think it's bigger than maybe, I know that everyone reads into everything and I caution against that, but like, it's a big deal to this team about how like Fernando's energy. And so he's working on that. And I think that's a part of it too. It just is like, look, I don't blame him. Like, I think Fernando, like a lot of great people, Fernando's greatest strength can be his weakness as well. And that's his passion for this game. And so he's been kind of in a funk, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever, and all of it together. And I think he's going to burst out of it. I do. But I don't know when.
And that's something
if I did, well, that would make me amazing. So
that would make you amazing.
You'd be
Kevin.
better than Jumbotron guy.
You would be. You should buy a couple lottery tickets too. And that's something that we talked about with the energy of this team, because last year that came from Jerks and Profar. Like Jerks and Profar, you looked at it, okay, he's bringing the energy, and this year it was like, who's going to bring the energy to this team? So do you feel like Tatis is feeling pressure there that he has to bring the energy because it's gone now with Profar?
I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't really even want to speculate. I mean, Fernando brought energy too, though I want to absolutely affirm you. You're absolutely right. And I mean, I wrote it several times that was a part of the reason. Like, they certainly didn't know they were getting All-Star last year from Jerickson. One of the reasons he was here was because of the cachet he had and the sway and his relationship with Tatis, with Manny, and his ability to be the one to say, get out of the dumps, or, whatever it was. And that wasn't worth $14 million a year. But
Right.
it is missing this year for sure. I wanted to bring just to light that is important for Tatis. I don't want us to overplay it. He's trying. As I point out in my story, look, the guy has been up for every one of Manny's homers. It's not like he's staying in the dugout and not celebrating. But, like, he goes in after one of those at-bats, and he's not sulking. Well, he is, but he's thinking about that at-bat and how to have a better at-bat next time. And you know what? I'm not going to cast any stones. Like, that's kind of how I am. Like, I screwed up something in a story, and, like, it bothers me for a whole day, and I'm not in a very good mood. Well, I'm nowhere near, like, the level of what I do compared to what he does. Like, I respect how he goes about his business, but he also knows, like, there is more to it than his OPS. Like, he is a spark, and he needs to sort of, be cool.
What would you say? Like, I think there's a narrative out there that he's not the same player since 2021. Not for me. I think there would be nationally, hey, he was suspended. He's also dealt with injuries. We just looked it up. He has a 965 OPS through 2021. He has an 800 OPS since through today. So 165 points lower. What would your reaction? What is the reason for that? You've been with this team. You've watched this player for the better part of the last 6 or 7 years. When you hear 965 OPS his first 3 years in the big leagues, 800 OPS the last 3 years in the big leagues, where would your mind go with that?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to try to, like, dismiss the time missed and why he missed it. I can't make a definitive statement on that. I do know that, like, 2023, he played that year without having played for more than a year.
Right.
And that was tough. Then last year had what was his, I don't know what his final OPS was. It was close to 9 or
it was like low 800s. I think it was like 820 something.
He was amazing in September and October. And
he played almost the entire first 3 months.
Right.
With, like, a broken leg. Like, right. That's exaggerating only slightly.
Yep.
So, like, there's that. So injuries for sure, but, screwing with his consistency. I am not going to, like, this guy has played at some high levels. You mentioned the end of last year, the postseason. Like, I think that negates the PED thing, to a large level. It should at least make us be careful with throwing that out there. So there's that, but I'm trying to be fair and responsible and not a homer and do what my job is. And say, yeah, you know what? Let's see how this career plays out. And if it continues to play out at where he's a good, not great player, well, then you know what? Whether it's true or not, Fernando brought that on himself.
Right. No, I think it's well said. And for another day, and maybe it's in your article, but we're up against it, but in his career, he's hit left-handed pitching better than right-handed pitching. And this year, he cannot hit left-handed pitching. He has not
and
hit.
I think that was last year too, though.
Yeah, that's it.
I might be wrong.
Yeah.
I think that was last year
That's interesting. I mean, he's under 200 against left-handed pitching this year. Yeah. And for his career, he's hit 279 against left-handed pitching. So for whatever reason, he just has not figured out southpaws here recently. Kevin, appreciate it. Padres have won 2 straight in San Francisco, 8 of 11 overall. We'll catch up with you from Milwaukee on Friday. And thanks for doing it, as always.
All right, take care.
Jim's back page coming up next. All right, SDFC Midweek Live coming up 6 p.m. You're going to hear from the head coach, Mikey Varas. You'll find out the latest about San Diego FC getting ready for Saturday against Club America. We'll give away more tickets tomorrow, so join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. We'll give away tickets for that Saturday match at Snapdragon, but you can hear SDFC Midweek Live coming up at 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. Jim, are you ready for your back page?
Oh, I'm ready.
You look ready. Let's get to it.
I didn't get to this yesterday, and it was on my back page, so I'm going to say it today. McDonald's is officially bringing back snack wraps.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. Like the chicken and the tortilla?
The chicken and the tortilla, John.
That's the last time I went there.
McDonald's is bringing back the snack wraps permanently on July 10th in 2 flavors, spicy and ranch with the new McCrispy strips.
They were good in like 99.
I mean, look, would I have one?
Yeah, you would.
Absolutely, I would.
How much are they?
Doesn't say.
Couple bucks?
Probably not.
More?
Probably like $5.99 or $4.99.
Have prices gone up in general over the last 30 years?
Yeah. You go to McDonald's, you get a burger and a meal. It's like $10.95. Before it was like $4 tops. Now it's like $12.
Right.
So anyway, the snack wrap is back at McDonald's. John.
Will you pick one of those up once they're available?
I mean, I'll try one.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
We'll stick with McDonald's here.
Mm-hmm.
June 10th, the McFlurry gets an upgrade.
To what?
There will now be options for the Hershey's S'mores McFlurry on June 10th.
That sounds really good.
I love me a McFlurry. Oreo McFlurry is elite.
You like McFlurry more than Blizzard?
Yeah.
Why?
No.
I don't know why. I just do.
It's a little fluffier, is it not?
The McFlurry?
Yeah, like it has like a fluffier feel.
I always go, I want a McFlurry, an Oreo McFlurry, extra Oreos.
Wow.
Just
how often do you get one?
Not often. The last time I had a McFlurry, me and Aaron went to McDonald's. We were just craving one. I think it was like one of those nights in the summer that it was like really hot.
Right, summer night. Mm-hmm.
And we just were craving a McFlurry, got a McFlurry, and it was like the greatest thing ever.
This was in Hawaii?
No, this was here.
I'm kidding.
But anyway, S'mores McFlurry coming to McDonald's on June 10th.
That's next week.
That is next week.
So
Six days.
out. Yeah.
6 days from now. So make sure you get your McFlurry.
Mm-hmm.
Krispy Kreme, John. There's always giveaways at Krispy Kreme.
Okay, what do we have?
June 6th, Krispy Kreme's giving away free donuts, no purchase necessary. So Krispy Kreme is bringing back one of its most beloved traditions for National Donut Day. This Friday, June 6th, customers can walk into any participating Krispy Kreme location and receive a free donut of their choice, no purchase necessary.
Walk right in, you get a free donut.
Just walk in, get a donut.
That's a really good deal.
That is. I like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of snack wraps, Popeyes decided that they're going to bring their own chicken snack wraps to the table here.
Wow.
Popeyes has introduced a new line of chicken wraps itself, just in time to rival McDonald's upcoming snack wraps. Available for a limited time, though. The wraps feature Cajun marinated chicken tenders, either hand-breaded or blackened with lettuce, cheese, and pickles in a flour tortilla.
Wow.
Flavors include classic, spicy, and honey mustard.
So Popeyes was prepared for this McDonald's announcement that they've already countered?
It's the fast food chain wars.
Yeah.
They just, hey, someone's releasing chicken nuggets, we're going to release chicken nuggets. Someone's releasing chicken strips, we're going to release chicken strips.
I feel like McDonald's has been teasing this for a long time.
Got
I feel like this
they
has been
have,
on multiple back pages before.
They have.
The hint of them coming back.
They have. So finally, they're bringing back the snack wrap there.
Okay.
And finally, John.
Yeah.
With the new Fantastic Four movie coming up here soon.
Of course.
The big craze is popcorn buckets.
Oh, yeah. You've been telling me about that.
Yeah. So the big bad guy in the Fantastic Four movie, not a spoiler, is his name is Galactus. He's very big. He's like a very big, like, villain. Like big in size and big in, stature.
So is the bucket going to be huge?
Yeah. So the giant Galactus popcorn vessel, John, will be available to purchase during the movie. and it is, I believe it's 11 inches tall.
Wow.
Also, you can purchase a Herbie, which is a character in the movie, concession vessel. Includes a large popcorn, a large drink, and candy.
I'm looking at something that says it's 17 and a half inches tall,
17,
20 inches wide.
I downplayed it. My bad.
So like a foot and a half tall, over a foot and a half wide.
And the eyes light up.
Oh my! How much is that going to cost? $275?
Probably. It's got to be like $29.99 or something.
Has to be at least.
Includes LED eyes.
It's incredible.
Yeah. So they're going all out. Popcorn buckets now.
Oh, look at that thing! Looks awesome.
Yeah,
I might go see
every
this movie.
movie's coming out with a popcorn bucket now.
That's really kind of cool.
Did you say you wanted to go see Fantastic Four?
Just I want to go get this popcorn bucket.
No, you don't.
Not at all.
Zero chance.
No shot. Are you going to see this movie?
100%.
Is it supposed to be good?
Yeah, it is.
When's it coming out?
Comes
24th.
out June 24th.
Oh, it's coming soon,
My
man.
next day off, July 24th.
Wait, June 24th
is it
or
June
July
or July?
24th?
That's July.
July. Oh, sorry.
Okay. I'm watching
It's 2 weeks after Superman.
I'm watching the preview here.
Why? You don't know anything about
I
it.
thought it was about the popcorn bucket, but it's the preview.
It's a
It
movie.
looks
It's a movie.
scary or something.
It's not scary at all.
Oh.
Looks scary.
All right, good job with the back page. We're back tomorrow. We're giving away SDFC tickets against Club America tomorrow. So join us at 2 p.m. We'll recap this series between the Padres and the Giants because they play tomorrow afternoon, right? Around 12 or 12:30.
Yes, they do. We'll have a wrap-up show edition, John and Jim edition.
That's right. So join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. Full reaction to the Padres and the Giants. SDFC Midweek Live on the other side for Brent and Jim. I'm John. Keep it here. This is San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
Bye-bye.